the 6 every ball from here on in.
Yeah, there's your over 8.5 for the over in with a ball to spare, if you back that. This is what I'm looking at now is basically runs in over. I don't think they'll go high enough here. The bookies 9.5 isn't high enough. Next over, they're going to go after it again. And wicket in over, if you can get bigger than 3.5, I would probably back that because Mitchell's going to go all guns blazing now, I think. Let's see what Gaikwad does to this last Nagcat ball. A very unconvincing one.
Just went to fetch it. I think that's a great point about cricketers being a product of their environment, and so often you find those stories where people have, a particular driveway which they grew up playing cricket, and you can't hit it over the fence. Or, sadly, my environment wasn't filled with runs growing up.
That was the problem with mine as well. Mine was just dodgy wickets. I'm very good. If you get me on an English wicket that's really wet, I'm the only Australian who'll just be like, oh, this is great. Get me on a normal wicket, I'll probably just go spoon up the egg. Viv Richards, at the school that him and his brothers went to, if you hit the ball on the offside, it went into someone's house, and they would lose the ball. So they all had to move across the crease and flick to the leg side.
That's good.
There's heaps of them. There's a whole book by Australian cricketers.
Matthew Hoggard, his autobiography is absolutely ridiculous. I think one of the chapters is written from the point of view of a dog or something like. He's a crazy man, Matthew Hoggard. But his
isn't he a professional barbecuer now?
Something like that, yeah. And I've got a lot of time for that. But his run up was curved and art like that, and it was. And he's done a diagram of it in his book, which is hilarious. But it's basically I had to run round my mum's flowers in the back garden, and that's why he's got a curve run up in a test match. That is a very funny book. Hoggard, you have to suspend reality because it's not from someone that lives on this planet.
I've got a good run-up story for you. There's a very rich family in the UK, the Goldsmiths.
Yep.
And I was invited to their house about a cricket thing. And they've got, and Ben Goldsmith has a cricket net in his backyard, but it was obviously set up for right-handers, and so they hadn't thought that left-arm bowlers might come in, and so there was this path through the flower bed where a left-arm bowler had been going, and I was like, that's pretty funny, and he went, yeah, that was Muhammad Amir. And I was like, and I've seen Ben Goldsmith play cricket, and I'm willing to say this into camera, one of the worst cricketers I've ever seen in my life. He would not agree with that, by the way. Absolutely terrible cricketer, and I was thinking, you faced Muhammad Amir in your backyard.
That's pretty cool.
That's what a few $100 million does for you.
I don't know if I'd want to get my toes ripped off for half an hour in my back garden by Amir.
Oh, I don't think Amir would have bowled at full pace.
Because when
No, he wouldn't.
Because when he was banned, not supposed to play, he popped up in a Surrey game.
Under a fake name?
Under a fake name.
Oh, I love the fake name one. Mohammed Ashraful did that too, didn't he?
Yeah, and I think took
a lot of things that bloke.
But that's why he had to do the fake name.
It's very tough to go under the radar when you're bowling 85 mile an hour and you're a left armer, and you've just been all over the newspapers for 2 weeks, but you still tried it.
How'd it go? Cheeky 3-for?
Yeah, I think he got 6, which is really worse, because surely once you got 4, you go, lads, I'm really not going to get away with this if we carry on.
I don't think, having met him a little bit, I don't think he's that kind of person.
No.
I think he would think, I could get 9 today.
Just loves taking away.
Yeah, just, it's a completely different way of looking at it. I've probably told this story before, but Faf was in the last game, and I almost brought it up, but we didn't get a chance. But there was a game at which Faf was playing club cricket in the north somewhere, and they were 1 short, and he said, do you want me to bring my mate down? And they were thinking, yeah, bring your mate down. And it was AB de Villiers. And so Faf was at point and AB was at cover. And I was just
That's okay.
Hey?
Quite a good field, isn't it?
I love the idea of one of the greatest ever ring fields of all time is in a club game.
Yeah, the club I played for this year, our owner, when the Ashes is on, JL, Justin Langer, stays at his place.
Yep.
So we had Justin Langer coming down on a Saturday giving us team talks. He would do some fantastically rare things. Sorry, I dropped a big clanger there.
Yeah. No, that's okay.
Where it'd be like a drinks break, and he'd just walk out into the middle, take someone's bat, and start shadow batting with no shoes on, grounding himself obviously as he does.
Remember, he did get hit in the head a lot in his career, right. But continue.
Yeah, well, no, he's a lovely guy, and nothing fires you up more than a JL team talk when you're playing club cricket. It's
short and wide, and Mitchell has just managed to get this over the top. That was a good over from Natarajan before then, but he's got that away. No, I like that. I like the idea of the legend coming down.
He was going over the fences, getting balls when they were getting hit for 6 as well. Just absolutely loves it. He loves cricket.
I remember Stuart Binney playing in the IPL IPL a few years ago. Was he Rajasthan? Stuart Binney?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he
played for Rajasthan, and they might have even made a final. And then, like a week later, he was playing for Beckenham.
He
probably got paid more for Beckenham.
He did very well, Stuart Binney. He
Hey.
had a good career in relation to his ability.
If you're an Indian seam bowling all-rounder, you're probably going to get overpaid for what you're going to do, right?
Yeah, he did great. He got the most out of himself, I think it's fair to say.
I would say the worst thing to be as an Indian is probably a spinner, because you're going up against the market there. Right-hand batter, going up against the market. You want to be a left-hand batter. You want to be an all-rounder who bowls seam. You know, like every market's got their own different things, right? Like, you know, if you're a number 5 in New Zealand who can average 40 in Test cricket, yeah, great, mate. We've got 83 others of those out there. You know, have you thought of doing something? How about an opening batter? We haven't had one of those in 30 years.
So if you had your time again and you wanted to make yourself the perfect white ball journeyman and go and learn loads of cash all over the world, which country would you be born in, and what would your skill set be?
So I reckon if you're a wrist spinner in South Africa.
It's good.
Yeah.
Good answer.
Because do you remember there was a guy, he might remember him, I don't even think you remember him, Munners, called Brandon Mavuta.
I don't know that.
You don't even know. Brandon Mavuta was a Zimbabwean leg spinner who was playing, he might have played in the first year of the SA20, but he played in a few different leagues. And it was like, he's better than me.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how much better. Daryl Mitchell's got a bad ball from Shabazz down the leg side here and helps it away for 4. But you look at that and you go, oh, I probably could have snuck a couple of games in here. And that's the other good thing about South African domestic cricket is you can play at that lower level. You know, you must know this. How many South Africans have you ever met in London who say to you, no, you know, I played with this guy and I played with that
unbelievable.
guy.
The name dropping of South African cricketers is on another level. The amount of guys who go, I played with Faf.
I remember a guy saying to me once, we played with Paul Harris, and there was like 4 of them, and they were like, we're all better than him. Well, guys, he's got Test wickets, and you're playing indoor cricket in Canary Wharf, so he might have won this one.
Daryl goes again.
Old Daryl.
So you don't need a long on and a long off for Daryl.
You need
Mitchell.
a straight hit.
You need straight, like dart straight, and stand there. Why are there 2 men? Every time you see Mitchell hitting the ball straight to the boundary, which he's done 5 or 6 times in this innings, you see 2 men running towards each other after the ball. Just have one man stood next to the sight screen.
So England started doing this for Usman Khawaja, and they basically worked out a hack of cricket.
England are good at that.
Yeah, if you put the fielder right, and they didn't do it on purpose. They did it because Khawaja kept doing this.
Yeah,
and then
then
afterwards they were like, wait a minute. If we have a guy back here, that guy's still not going to go for the big hit because he knows he can run 20 metres this way and 20 metres that way. So unless he's the sort of person who drags the ball and you need a long on, or opens up and you need a long off or deep extra cover, it's come down to this. This could be caught just short. And I, straight away when I saw that, I was like, this is genius. Everyone's going to try this. And teams have not cottoned on yet.
So I don't understand this about cricket. At all. So you know Kane Williamson strikes at 100 in the power play, basically.
Went on a good day with wind behind him.
Yeah, that's what he's averaged over his whole T20 career. 107, I think, his strike rate is in the power play. But he would average, his strike rate would be 0 if you plugged third man, because he just gets a 1 to third man off every ball.
Turns good balls into runs.
That's all Jack Callis ever did in T20. Why don't you just block that area up? And I've seen teams do it to him once or twice, where they've plugged that gap, and his brain breaks. He's like, but that's my shot, and I always get 1. So now what happens? And I don't understand why. I know that Mitchell. I watch cricket. I don't play it. I know that Mitchell scores absolutely boatloads of runs straight. Stick someone there and stop him. Like it doesn't make any sense.
I've seen it for Pollard, White, Cameron White, and there's someone else that had it as well. But it's not very common. And yet, so this is the way I look at it. There's that point at which, how old are you, Munners?
Oh, I'm 30.
So,
God.
When you first started watching cricket,
in the den.
If you remember back when you were young, you would almost never see a 6 hit over cover, right? When you first started watching. And when it happened, the commentator would go, oh, that's an incredible shot. And now, oh my God, these guys, comedy capers out on the boundary to stop 2 runs there. And now, commentators still get excited, but you see a 6 over cover basically every second game. Right? And Suresh Raina could do it in his sleep, and we saw Shimron Hetmeyer do one the other day. It's a much more common position. Why do people hit 6s over cover now? Because no one ever puts out a deep cover.
Yeah.
Right? Why do you hit 6s straight back over your head? Why did the dill scoop and the laps and all those things come in? Because you don't put fielders back there. So, if you know someone's going to do that, great. So I remember there was a Dutch player. I can't remember who it was. All he ever did was play the lap scoops, but he could play them on both sides. I was like, great. Well, let's just put a third and a fine leg back. And what's his next shot?
Yeah.
He doesn't have another shot because for the last 4 months he's only played that, and teams won't go to that. And you just like,
well, so much of cricket and like playing cricket is you just can't bring yourself to do weird things.
Yeah,
because it doesn't feel right. And it doesn't matter how many intelligent people tell you that weird things are acceptable. They're not playing cricket. They don't know how sort of horrible it feels.
Well, I tell you what, Mitchell's tried to go over cover for 6 here. Maybe they put someone straight back, Rob, and he's mishit this over backward point. Well, I mean, the night watch position is that famous one of like, are you putting yourself in the best possible position, or are you gifting another wicket away so the next day you have to come out for more wickets? Has anyone really ever thought about that? The night hawk position, which sometimes makes a lot more sense. Why is that not being used a lot more?
I love it.
Yeah.
Great idea, that. I want to see more of that. Like, we talk about this a lot, and it's one of the things that when I'm in charge of cricket, that we're going to change a lot. Is just have your batting orders always be flexible. Have plans, but then you have to adapt all the time.
Do you want to know the worst thing about World War II?
Oh, dear.
Go ahead.
After that,
if it doesn't rhyme with Badolf Bitler, I'd be quite surprised.
After that, we no longer had flexible batting orders. Up until that point in cricket, it was like, it's a wet wicket, we'll send out our wet wicket guys. We might even send out our tail-enders. Oh, it's spinning, we'll send out our best player of spin. This guy bats at number 3, but number 4, 5, and 6 will... And then people suddenly went, after World War II, no, wicketkeeper has to bat at number 7. This guy bats at number 3. And, you have conversations with cricketers, and you're just like, so you're going to send out Jonathan Trott, but England are 200 without loss, and your best player of spin is either Ian Bell or Kevin Peterson, and they're sitting there with their pads on doing nothing.
Yeah. Why
would you not just send your best player of spin out now? Oh no, but Trotty bats at 3. Give Trotty a steak and turn the TV off in the back of the room. He won't even notice that he hasn't gone out.
Yeah. but Stephen Smith has to bat 3 when you've got Maxwell and Stoinis waiting to smash everybody to smithereens, and they're like, oh, we're 100 for 1. So it can't be Smith then. Like, it can't be Smith, and it always is Smith 100 times out of 100. It just makes absolutely no sense. And I don't care if he's called Steve Smith and he says, I want to bat 3 or I'm going home. Go home then. Like,
do you know how many guys are called Steve Smith? We've even had more than one Test cricketer called Steve Smith. We can replace you, mate. Maybe not his middle name. What's his middle name? Steve Smith.
Devereux.
Stephen Devereux Smith.
Yeah,
I can't believe you guys haven't done like 7 TikToks of this.
Yeah, I was going to say Devereux.
Can we have an hour on cricketers' middle names?
Go, give it to me.
Harry Brook.
Oh, I don't know that one at all.
You don't know that Harry Brook's middle name is Cherrington?
I do actually. I did know that. I did know that. Sorry. Yeah. Oh, there's some good ones.
We're going to get on to Joy Lord Gumby very quickly.
Joy Lord Gumby, a greatest cricketer ever. I just want to get on Sweat Watch. Daryl Mitchell, one of the sweatiest men ever who has existed, and he scooped this over the top just off Pat Cummins. He really wants to go Cummins today. He's going to pick up a 4. You know that Daryl Mitchell is doing it hard when he leans over his bats and the sweat comes off his helmet, and he's at that level now, so he's about to cramp up. He's 49 off 28. He might as well just slog from here on in. I thought before the odds were wrong. I think the odds are about right at the moment in the game, but the run line says 211. If I told you that Sunrisers were chasing 211 on this pitch, what would you say, big man? How many of your millions would you put on?
It means I get to go home early if they're only chasing 211. But this run line started about 187, didn't it, when we turned the game on? And once again, it's just another day for people that back overs. And maybe it's another game for people that back overs and chase. We will see later on. The one thing you know with SRH, and the thing to remember for this second innings, as Mitchell pounds his chest for scoring a 50, is Chennai mucked about for a lot of that first 6.
Yep. And these guys are 50 off 30. They're not 50 off 15.
Yeah. And 50 off 30 is amazing, isn't it, normally? But it ain't normal anymore. And if Travis Head has faced 30 balls, he scored 80 later. It's one of those. And Abhishek hasn't gone on yet. He hasn't gone past 35, I think, in this IPL. And if he does, he's scored. The other day, I think Head was something like 70 off 35. And that's a lovely shot for one. And Abhishek was 40 off 8 or something. Like, he's a total gun now. Is he in the conversation to play for India, Abhishek?
I think they'll be looking at him, won't he? Whether he gets in or not. I mean, he doesn't really suit their game plan, does he? Of everyone just knocking the ball around for ones. Sorry, we can't pick you. You're scoring too fast.
So it's just been a great tournament for the overs.
Really
Positive
has, yeah.
people placing positive bets. Gotta love it, haven't you?
I used to work with a guy called Paddy, who definitely won't be watching this because he'll be clowning around somewhere. Reminds me of you a lot, Jarrod, but basically Paddy used to sit down next to his brother who's as Daryl Mitchell goes dart straight, and there's a man there, so he only gets 1 instead of 4. Imagine doing that half an hour ago. And he sat down and we could come up with as many stats and as models, and there was a really good betting model there, and Paddy would just ignore it every day and back overs and chase. But he sat down for that PSL where everything was overs and everything was chase, and he was like, I don't know what you mugs are up to, but I'm backing overs and chase, and I'm going to win again, and you lot are going to moan about how cricket's gone wrong, and I'm just going to keep backing overs and chase. And he just did it the whole tournament. He said, enjoy your work, I'm off around the world, see you later. And just
he made that much.
Off he went. Yeah, he's just he just got on the wave at the right time. And there are punters that are doing that now. And like, we're okay, it's not our money, but the bookies are doing it in every game right now, because it's and the punters are just sitting there and go, well, I win every day because I'm cracking overs. Do you know what I'm going to do today? I'm going to crack overs again. And then you watch this and you're like, well, hey, he runs. And look how much dew's down here now, by the way.
Yeah.
They're sliding all over the place.
It's hard to tell if that's the dew or Daryl Mitchell's sweat.
We're on a...
We're on a strategic timeout. We'll have a quick break here on Cricket 8, and we'll be back in a few moments with more live action on Cricket 8.
Bishnoi played 58 times in the IPL and he's never got one.
Really?
and you'd think for his kind of bowling, one day he's going to rip through a tail and get 5. But it's just never. We were talking about how many times has he got a 3 for. He just doesn't do it. He just doesn't get loads of poles, Bishnoi. I don't know what it is.
Is it because he bowls? This might sound mad, but too many googlies. He bowls from beyond the perpendicular, so he doesn't have much of a leg spinner. So he's not bowling to take the ball away from right-handers that much. I don't know
Essentially, yes. What I think the bigger problem for him is he slides the ball on, so he's bowling like a defensive leg spinner rather than an attacking leg spinner. So, so what I mean by that is, a leg spinner is putting a lot of revolutions on the ball, and you basically you're trying to beat a batter 3 different ways. The first one is the fact that leg spin goes up and then comes down. So you're beating them with that. The second one is the spin sideways, and the third one is the bounce. The way he's bowling and the way he bowls it, the spin sideways is taken away. So he's only got 2 of those options, and then he bowls faster. So even the bounce that he should get is more skid through. So he's really just beating you with the way the ball comes up out of his hand and then drops. And then the other one is then, can you pick the variations? Whereas with him, there aren't that many variations because he's basically, instead of bowling leg spin all the time, he's bowling wrong ones all the time. Welcome back to Cricket 8. I've got Rob Barron and Munners from Dealt with Cricket here. It's just getting to the point where we're hoping for 6s every single ball because that's what the IPL has promised us, Munners. Yeah. I feel like you've come in on the crappiest day possible for a man of your vibes.
Yeah, I wanted to see 270 place 260. That's what I wanted to see. I've not quite seen it yet.
You wanted SRH to bat first, did you?
Yeah, basically, yeah. Or just weird things to happen, and we've not really seen many wickets today either. It's just
they're a very rare commodity these days. The old poles. Yeah, I mean, we have got the cat bowling though, and you never know what's going to happen when an cat's bowling. He's one of my favourite cricketers because he's comedy, and to be fair to him, he's somehow found a way to play 100 IPL games, because I remember seeing him in the first 3.
He's a left-arm seamer from India.
There you go. And
you know what I mean? Sometimes you just need to be in the right place at the right time. He
also looks like a really fun guy, and he's called a Nad Cat, which is obviously hugely in his favour as he bowls a massive wide.
A terrible wide. Don't you also think, though, that there's a part of them where they're just like, he's a really good bowler and we know he's a really good bowler and one day it's going to work because we've seen it in
Do you know how much cash he's made in the IPL on Nadcat? He's got some mad cash for playing in this. I stand by my theory of a Nadcat that if he ever bowls at the death, you don't need to look anything up. You just have as much money as you can on overs for that over. Right. If he ever bowls the 20th, I don't care who's batting. You just lamp overs because he is the single worst, and I include Romario, and I include Odin in this conversation, he is the single worst death bowler I have ever seen in my life, and he's consistently horrific. What he's getting better at, and I love his batting. Watching an Adcat bat is one of my favourite things. Watching him field.
Oh, that's a good ball. Sorry, I was shocked. Did you hear the shock?
He's got better at bowling in the middle overs over the last couple of years. He's worked out a way to not go for 15 and over, which fair play to him. He's played 100 times. Maybe you learn stuff, but and it might sound like I'm digging him out, but he's getting like £1 million a year or something to play in this, and perhaps not this year, but he's certainly got crazy money like a couple of years ago. When you look at it, it's like, well, he was going for 11 and a half and over for the last 3 years. What are you doing? But as Jarrod says, he's Indian and he uses his left arm. If
you go through the history of cricket,
absolutely horrible full toss.
He's got a wicket.
Yes.
Daryl Mitchell is out.
There's the cat. That's exactly what you asked for, Munners.
Yeah.
You wanted madness,
It's
wickets,
wickets,
crazy things to happen, and you got all of that in 5 seconds because a Nad cat is playing.
Was that a full toss?
Yeah. It was a horrible, filthy full toss.
To be honest, Daryl Mitchell
He looks like.
he wants the no ball.
He wants the ball to be cancelled.
The problem with Daryl Mitchell, he's too tall for no balls, man.
Yeah.
That's not a no ball, I'm afraid, Daryl. Off you pop.
If you want to be 6'4" and use that big front leg to hit sixes all the time, you've got to be prepared for the fact that no one's bowling above your waist.
Unleash the Jubei, lads.
He looks mildly confident about this being a no ball.
We punched his bat as well, so I think he reckons it's a 50-50 shot, and I think it's
he's
a
really
70-30
annoyed that he's
shot.
out. Yeah. I think that's all this is. I think he's reviewing this because he hates the fact that he's out.
He's a foot taller than the umpires. It is hilarious.
Yeah, walk off.
He's like,
go on.
Unfortunately, you hit it to a fielder and he caught it, so that's called out, Daryl.
That is Daryl Mitchell's mindset, I think. He's got so much self-belief that he just can't believe he's done that.
Yeah,
it's nothing,
that might have
like
been over the waist of someone like Rasik Singh, or I'm trying to think of other
Swapnil Asnodka.
Yeah, or Sachin Baby, but it's certainly not over the waist of Daryl Mitchell. Good on him for trying that one on though.
I'm just glad I managed to stay Swapnil Asnodka. He's only 40. There's lots of older people than him still playing. Like it feels like he retired 100 years ago. Do you remember him when he used to open the batting for Raj? Yeah, it was fun. Really fun.
Didn't he have like a good couple of years?
He won the IPL.
Yeah.
At his very first attempt.
Yeah.
I want to talk about Swapnil Asnodka because I said his name 3 times in a row without getting it wrong. I want to talk about him some more. He was fun.
We got an email in. Remember, you can email us. I'm going to get this right. Yeah. I've never got it wrong any other day, but I'm going to try today. Live. It's because I heard you trying to do it in the live at cricket8.com. Live at cricket8.com. You can email us in like Sam has. And he has said, do you think there could be a shift in the second half of the IPL where betting on unders might work better? Also, is the Fizz going to be useful today? Fizz, 2+ wickets at 325 right now. So just on the second half of the IPL, the one thing I would say is sometimes in tournaments, wickets get tired.
Yeah.
And when they get tired, that usually means that there isn't as many boundaries and people keep batting in the same way, and so they go out. I would look for that, San. If these surfaces don't get tired, then I would keep going overs until the bookmakers give you a line that you can't go under. Mustafiza at 2+ wickets for 3.25. I think that's a lot of wickets for Mustafiza.
You need over 1.5.
It says 2+. Does that must
2+? Yeah, fine. That's all right. Yeah.
You're okay with that? Would you lump in? Would you unit?
I like that. I like that bet. Who emailed that in, please?
San.
Hi, San.
He can't. Talk to you. He's not.
Yeah, that's
so the way he emails, they send it in.
Sam might have been sitting at home saying hello.
Hi, Sam. So his IPL. He's got a wicket in every single game. He bowled terribly badly last time. Let's not forget that. Mm-hmm. He's got 4, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1. I think 3.2 is fair enough. Gaiquad's hit a massive 6.
He's almost hit this behind himself.
That's a great pickup.
That's the sort of shot you play in the backyard if someone bowls the half tracker, isn't it? But he's hit that for 6. It's an incredible strike.
Gaiquad is moving up the old orange cap table once again.
Do you think Virat will get nervous? He's averaging 150 in his last 4 games they put up.
I'll tell you why Virat will get nervous is because RCB ain't going to qualify, and if Chennai win this...
Do you get the purple cap with playoff runs?
Purple and orange, yeah, they count, yeah.
Well, that's not how those awards should work.
Why not?
Because it's a regular season award. It's not your fault that the rest of your team is absolute trash. In Virat's case, it might be, but in general, it's not your fault. That's a ridiculous thing. You win an award based on how many you get in the regular season. It's a regular season award. You can give you can have a friggin' fuchsia cap for the playoffs.
Am I making the rules?
Yeah, it's a stupid award, really. I really hate it so much.
I bet
Do
on
something about it.
so much. Yeah, do something about it then, Jarrod, if you feel that strongly. Go and talk to your mates at RCB.
I would like neon green caps for the best strike rate.
Yeah.
And I would like a towel that just says boss on it for the person with the best economy.
Yeah.
You're missing something here. You need lots of different caps for people that do bad things as well. The most drop catches, you have to wear like a giant glove on one of your hands.
I thought you were going to say the Tim David Award then.
yeah, well, basically that's what it is. Yeah,
David would be favourite. You could have a duck hat, can you? That sort of stuff.
Yeah. If you get a duck, you have to wear like a
and then just like
hat,
real
basically.
hazing of people from the stands.
Good.
You know, because they have a nice ride in the IPL, don't they? Nice hotels, loads of money. Cricket every now and again.
I mean, there have been. I mean, Hardick's been booed a bit.
Yeah.
You know, there's like 38 awards at the end of the game. One of them should be like in club cricket, you get a D of the day or whatever, don't you? Like there should be somebody that gets custard pied at the end of every game, and you can vote for it on your Altros app or whatever the IPL is these days. And you go, right, this guy he played an innings of 10 or 14. Yeah. He's getting custard pied now by the IPL fan of the match.
When we played golf, we used to have the Naga Award, which is not a golfer's arsehole. And I do think at a certain point that you have to, imagine giving that to like David Warner.
Yeah.
The Knacker Award, not a cricketer's arsehole. Can we get that? Can we? That's got to go in, doesn't it?
I found myself feeling a bit sad for David Warner the other day.
Oh my God!
I know. Of all people, like just watching on as Fraser was absolutely whacking it, being like, "This is what you could have been," you know.
Yeah.
This is what you should have been.
I mean, to be fair, that's what he was when he was young.
Yeah.
He was that back in the day.
I think his biggest problem was once his shoulders went.
Yeah.
Because if you look at that innings where he's hitting Dale Steyn, he's flat batting back over his head at 90 miles an hour. That ability went a long time ago. So he becomes an anchor who can occasionally smash the ball rather than anything else.
I think he's done very well to have the career he's had, David Warner, to be fair to him. Like when he first turned up and he just got in the T20 team and he'd never played cricket before or whatever it was, I was like, well, he can't go to India and make runs. That technique, you can't. And he went in the IPL straight away and he made runs. He looked really good. And his run, to give a guy I don't particularly like loads of credit, his IPL run is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like churning out the runs over and over again.
And big strike rates.
Yeah.
145,
yeah,
150,
real
155.
good. Like,
and a period when no one was doing
exactly. When everyone else was mucking about, it was only him and Sehwag. And the amount of times I was on those guys for like highest first 6 overs and stuff back in the day, it's like, well, I've got Sehwag and you don't have anyone. Or I've got Warner, you don't have anyone.
They played together a couple of years, didn't they?
Yeah, at Delhi, yeah. I mean, I wish Sehwag was
so we went back and
his age stopped at 30 and he just carried on being 30 and I got to watch Sehwag forever because I love watching him.
He was incredible. We went back and we looked at the true strike rates and true averages to find out who the best MVPs were. And like Sehwag sort of is an okay IPL player. He was probably like MVP of about 4 of 7 seasons. Yeah. And if you look at his one-day stats, it's exactly the same. Yeah. It's just that we weren't valuing the strike rates and everything at that point. As this could go from Gaikwad, well, eventually he's going to have to let Shivam Dubé face a ball, but not now. Not now, as he gets a short one and he whacks this away. He's 75 off 41. And this is sometimes Gaikwad is one of those guys that can get a little bit tired and he doesn't get to the big strike rates at the end. It doesn't look like that's about to happen today, Rob.
No, he's got his 1 ton in this. Again, you'd actually forgotten it because somebody got a better ton half an hour afterwards. But he can go big, Gaikwad. And one thing I've noticed with him is usually when he hits 1-6, they really start flowing.
Yeah,
like he can string 3 or 4
together. So we won 6s.
I think Boov's last 3 balls here are due about 10 runs. I really do, because it's not swinging at all. He's landing it to a very set bat who's good at hitting 6s. As he smashes another one straight back down the ground, I think that's a 1 bouncer.
With mid-off up in the circle there.
But sometimes when you can, if you're quick when you're gambling, and I might not be the sharpest, but I'm quick when I'm betting. You're like, I want to be on overs right this second, whether it's first 15 overs runs, for example. There's a line up there and you might only have 10 seconds to be like, hang on, it's not moving even slightly for Boov. This guy's really set and he's going after him. I just want to hammer and be in for 4 balls of betting and just go, right, I'm hammering overs because I'm convinced he's going to get smashed. And 1 time out of 10 he'll just chip the next one to long on and you're like, oh, never mind. But most of the time he's going to destroy Boov here. Like, I want to be on Gaikwad right now because he's facing, I mean, he probably should have got that one away as well. He's hit it straight to a fielder. But he's got 5 off 2. And who knows what Dubé's going to do, because he came in last time and was quite bad, I think. And
Yeah.
the time before, he was sort of 40 off 18 or something like. This guy can do crazy stuff. I think he has to play for India. He has to play for India more, Dubey.
I have gone in on over 213.
Sure.
Because I think MS Dhoni can hit 20 off and over on his own at the end. Shivam Dubey, if he gets in, Gaikwad looks to me like he could hit a few more, and they've got other hitters that they can just toss at the pile at this stage. They've got plenty of wickets in hand, and I don't want Shivam Dubey stealing twos to short mid-wicket, but that's fine. I'm not even stealing the two.
He's not the best runner because he bats
What's the run-out odds?
with concrete shoes on. Yeah, it's well worth looking now because he's in with somebody who may or may not be getting tired. They're awake. They're only 12s, which I wouldn't back.
It does feel like do they listen to this, the decimal traders?
Sometimes, yeah.
Because it must be like having your teacher, follow you home, and in the other room talking about your homework.
Yeah,
Naughty boys! Naughty boys! You got the two price wrong.
I would say I feel for him, but I don't. Decimal are 10.5, which they're probably short on it. Like, they're good at this stuff. They'll probably shorten it as we go. Right now, it's not quite a bet. We've had surprisingly few run-outs in this IPL.
Yeah.
Surprisingly few. A lot of that is average protecting, but I will still never. We say
no,
this
but
a lot.
I think
don't they run off the last ball?
But I think teams have got much smarter off the rest of their running.
Yeah.
You know, it used to be, we have to steal all these runs. It's like, no, you don't. Sit in the crease and smack it for 6.
Yeah.
Right?
That's probably what it is.
If you're going to take a risk, I want you to take a risk on whether you can get it to row X. I don't want you to take a risk on whether you can steal a single during the power play. Why would you do that? So got Jadeja, Dhoni and Moeen to come. So we expect probably Moeen to come in next.
Depends how many balls are left.
Yep.
If there's 5 left, it's MS.
And but that's if it's a long way further.
If it's 20, then it ain't.
I tell you what, Shivam Dubey, not looking like he's come in with peak form here.
Cloth that, didn't he?
Yeah,
Really
he's a hard guy to when it comes to betting to read, because sometimes you think overs and you remember all his amazing innings, but when he does a bad one, he's horrible.
Yeah.
Like when he, and there's lots of players, it's like that. It was last game he was great, and the game before he came in and got 3 off 8. And you can never really think that it's possible for him to be 3 off 8 because of how amazing he looks when he gets his 60 off 25. But sometimes people just come, like maybe he had a bad night, or maybe he didn't sleep great, or he doesn't like this particular ground. There's all that sort of thing. And one thing I don't do enough personally is run the numbers by ground for players. Because some players, they go, oh look, he averages 150 at this ground, like Jadeja in the Test match when we were all backing him for man of the match. At that ground he averages like 1 million, and he always takes loads of wickets. And you're like, if you know that, and he's 16 to 1 to be man of the match, or whatever mad price we were backing, it's like, well, he loves this place, and that's definitely a thing. Like, there are some players that you just know are going to be good at certain grounds, and that is definitely something that you can help.
Is there any way you can go to find man of the match stats on players?
So they put them up on. There's a fella that puts them up on Twitter all the time. I can't remember his name. Gaikwad is a man of the match machine, by the way. Like he is 1 in 5 or something. Like, he is a machine for man of the match, because when he gets in, he's very good at converting and going big. But he used to play for a team that won 75% of their games at home. So Gaikwad at home, man of the match, I used to back it all the time without thinking. But now they're playing on roads, which doesn't suit the way Chennai play. We've got another road here. They're 150 off 15, and we don't think they're going to defend it. Do you know what I mean? Like, what world are we living in now?
Good over from Cummins so far. 1-1 dot here. He's bowling to Shivam Dubey. He's got himself a little bit stuck here. It goes for the big swing. He's clothed this. He might have got it. Oh no, he's only got another single.
This feels like, if the air hasn't gone out of the ball here, the next over is going for millions.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like.
It's one or the other. I think if
because
the next
it's not Cummins, and who do we think is going to bowl 17? Natarajan again? What do you reckon? How are they going to shuffle this pack? Jarrod, who are you, if you're captain, who's bowling these last 3?
We just got an email from your friend Sam, but I'll get to that in a moment. Where are we on the scorecard? Oh,
shot. Yeah, really nice.
That's an important boundary, I think, because just to make them feel like they're back on the road again, because they had slowed down there for a moment, and you almost want Shivam Dubey to have hit that boundary if you're a Chennai guy. But let's have a look. So Bhuvi's bowled 4. Nitesh bowled 1 and we haven't seen him again. Shabazz has bowled 3. So those two, I'm going to count that as 4. So Bhuvi can't bowl again. Nitesh and Shabazz can't bowl again. Natarajan will bowl 2. It has to be Unadkat.
It can't be the
So it has to be he's going to bowl the 20th over, isn't he?
No, it can't be.
What is the run line on the 20th over?
It can't be. It can't be the cat. You can't bowl
Oh,
the
he's gone
cat
for
now.
another one here, and this could be out. Oh, and it should have been fielded. Has it been fielded? No.
No, Natarajan not up to it there at all.
And so that
And
was a
all of a
good
sudden-
over at the end there. Let's just brought them back a little bit.
So
Well, who would
that
you bowl?
So that just
Nitish?
anyone not called an Agcat is how I shuffle this pack. So
Shabazz at
we've
the
got
death.
4 left. It's going to be 1 Cummins, 2 Natarajan. Natarajan is good at the death,
Yep.
like frequently. He's not always good at the death. Then you must find an over of somebody else. So you could bowl the cat right now and watch him go for 13, or you save him for the 20th when he'll go for 25. It's up to you. I don't bowl the cat, I'm afraid. I probably go ready and cross my fingers.
Okay.
But you can't bowl the cat at the end. You can't do that.
You say that, but won't that be the single greatest thing that's ever happened to Cricket8?
if a nag cat bowls the 20th over and Guy
We're pushing
Quad
the
is-
chips in, right?
Right, hang on.
Munners is
Let's
opening
say-
7
I'll
accounts
do
just to
it
get
straight
ready.
away.
Let's say Guy Quad.
Look, he's
know,
actually stressed with the thought of how
Just
excited
like-
this is.
yeah.
So let's say a scenario that might happen in 5 minutes. Guy Quad is 100 not out. Dhoni has just been given a briefcase full of balls to pick from, so he can smash them all into the middle of next week. And the Nadcat is about to bowl the last over. How many is that in for? It's not 12. Is it? It's not 12. It might be 22. Like, it's that many.
Natarajan is coming into Shivam Dubey, and it's another good ball and another dot. They've actually bowled really well. I know they went for a couple of boundaries there at the end, but they have pulled this back just a little bit. They need Shivam Dubey needs to get out or start hitting sixes, and I would say that of every player ever, but more so now Shivam Dubey.
Yeah, well, you were on 213, eh?
Yeah, they're pushing me now.
Yeah,
They're pushing.
it feels like it's dying a death a little bit
Yeah.
at the moment. Sorry to...
No, I feel the same.
I'll bring the positive vibes back now.
It's all right.
This one's going out
I
the
did
park.
okay in the last game.
This one's going out the park. Here we go.
I was more thinking it is going
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
Well, there we go. That's why we bring
Yeah.
Munners. Ding, ding, ding. That was in the slot and a good shot. That's the best sign for Chennai and my bet because that was Shivam Dubey.
Yes. And if he gets going...
And also, it wasn't a terrible ball. It wasn't that far away from you.
No, it was
was
all right. It was all right. That's where we've got to with cricket now. You can bowl an okay ball, and it's the easiest 6 ever.
Missed it by about 40 centimetres, I reckon, that length.
I mean, that's a half volley.
Yeah, no,
yeah,
that's what I'm
yeah,
saying.
yeah,
He's missed it
yeah,
by 40
yeah,
centimetres.
yeah.
But that's all you know. 40 centimetres is quite a bit. That's why Yorkers are basically impossible to bowl. I think people think just bowl a Yorker like you're in a computer game. He's gone for another one here. This might be a
Face off, I think.
wide.
That's not a wide. I don't think so.
I think they might review this. But what side of his body did that ball go?
It went round him, is what it did. It did a circle round
They're
his body.
reviewing
Doing
it.
both.
I think it actually went on his offside of his body.
Yeah, I'm saying no wide because he was spinning round at the same time. So if he stood in his normal stance, that hits him. I'll give you some numbers on.
We haven't had a bet from
SRH.
you in a while. I feel like
Right, so
I gave everyone a bad bet.
I'll give you one right now. What I'm waiting for is saving all my money to have it all on overs when an Agcat bowls. That's why I'm quiet. But
I think this is going to be a wide,
I'll
mate,
give it
by
a
the way.
wide, yeah.
why?
Or is it
Because there's
his-
a foot down the leg side.
Well, he's basically hit his arms.
No, I know, but it's a foot down the leg side. That's not how the laws are written.
Has that not hit him?
Well, if it's hit him, that's different because then it won't be a wide. I'm going to put money on the fact that he knew that didn't hit him because if he did,
he's on the forearm, like, he'd
Probably not
have felt
reviewing
that,
that for half an hour.
I mean, to be fair, his eyes are shut there, Munners.
Yeah, it's true.
Shivam Dubey just faced that ball purely on vibes.
He was
I
just
like it.
And he's given the wide. There we go.
fair
Good
enough.
call.
Yeah,
I
nice.
got that.
If you're on overs.
I got that wildly wrong. So SRH, you could back. I don't know whether it's still there. You have to shop around, have a look at what betting accounts you got. But the firms bet on highest score in over for the whole innings. Like, what's their highest over going to be? And I saw earlier SRH's line at 19.5. Again, years gone by, you go, wow, that's high.
Yeah.
It ain't high enough this year. They have got at least 21 in a game, 7 times out of 8 in this IPL. They've smashed an over for more than 20 in 7 games out of 8. That is nuts. And you've got loads of ways you can win that bet as well. Let's ignore the bowlers because they've got Patharana and other people that bowl this
Yep.
team. Travis Head, Abhishek, Klassen.
Yep.
Like it feels like Klassen hasn't done anything this IPL, and he's got 46s or something. Like he's an absolute nutcase.
Was that a drop catch, by the way? I'm not sure if he hit that or not, but
I think it was. Yeah.
certainly dropped.
Yeah.
That could have been Dhoni time for Anadkat. I'm really excited about the fact that Anadkat might bowl at the death. I'm really excited. He just back boundary every ball.
Who was it Dhoni that once took him down for 30 in an over?
Probably. Was that this week?
I feel like there's an old one of the first times he came into the side. No, when he was younger, he came in and someone just absolutely eviscerated him.
Yeah. No,
One of those years when he got paid a lot of money and then didn't do very well, which doesn't narrow it down.
Has he played for every single IPL team?
Feels like it. He's the Aaron Finch of left arm seam, isn't he? This is really good batting by Kaikord, and unfortunately he's just got himself a single there. He swept that from outside off stump and got it where he wanted, but unfortunately he probably hit it a little bit on the head, and so it's rolled out to fine leg rather than flying away for a boundary.
So the Cat has played for Bangalore, Rising Pune Supergiant,
Don't exist.
RIP.
Pull one out for your brothers.
Mumbai Indians, Rajasthan Royals, Lucknow Supergiants, and Kolkata Knight Riders. He's played for six IPL teams. That's strong. That's really good going. Wow.
And Divam Dubey has got the full toss outside off stump. Again, he's probably missed by 40 centimetres, which is enough, especially to someone like Shivam Dubey, who has a very low centre on his bat. But that was full outside off stump, and he just launched that away. And suddenly my overspet looks a little bit better now. I'm a little bit worried because it is... I hadn't quite fully factored. I think I over-indexed on my overspet on Dhoni, and I think I under-indexed on Natarajan.
You need to have more on overs if you ever see an Adcat get the ball.
That's the first time you've mentioned him. Does he go for runs at the death? That's a wide.
Well left.
And I tell you what, Heinrich Klaassen, that was almost 5 wide.
He's kept really well today. He's had to be like a goalkeeper rather than a wicketkeeper, hasn't he?
He doesn't wear pads, does he?
No.
You sure they're not under the
No, I mean, he wears the shin guards, but not actual pads.
I'm all for that. Like, you get so much more mobility when you're keeping when you haven't got a giant pair of pads on.
Also, I just think in wicket keeping, surely if you're stopping them with your pads anyway, you're probably not a good wicket keeper and shouldn't be there in the first place. I want you to be able to move quicker with your feet, not slower with your feet. How many times does
the ball hit your pads? Like whenever I've kept a fair bit, it doesn't hit you very often in the leg when you're keeping. Occasionally, you can, like going back to playing at Europa Point when the outfield's gravel, which it was at Europa Point, gravel outfield. You sometimes have to use your pads because it takes silly bounces. But they don't play with gravel outfields in the IPL anymore. They use grass, and it doesn't hurt to jump around on lovely soft grass. So yeah, I actually think that will come in more. The other thing that needs to come in more with keepers is coming up at the end and taking your glove off to do the Dhoni for the run out. That needs to happen more as well.
So I play indoor cricket, and you
love indoor cricket,
and you keep up with the stumps to all bowlers, and no one ever uses 2 gloves. So you train yourself, and I think if more wicket keepers played a little bit of indoor cricket, it makes a lot more sense to be able to do that. Because all I ever thought to myself was, you're Australian wicket keeper, so you're trying to take everything on your left hip anyway. So left glove is on.
Yeah.
And it never, I know the ball's different, so you don't get the stingers as much but you got a guy bowling. I kept up the stumps to some South Africans who bowling 80 miles an hour because you don't have a point you just have to do it in indoor cricket. There's nowhere to hide.
Yeah, because you can't walk further back.
Yeah. And you're better off at the stumps than you are a metre and a half back where you get, because you can't get in your head, you can't get your footwork right. And so, I took a couple of balls on the edge of my fingers occasionally that stung a little bit, but I'm not a very good wicketkeeper because I'm a bowler. So I just think a professional wicketkeeper should be able to train themselves for 3 overs of a game to take the ball on their the inside hand and then do the roll. Pat Cummins is coming on, and I mentioned this, and you know why I mentioned this. As Cummins comes on, it's outside off stump, and that is whacked by Shivam Dubey. But I tell you what, he was clothing things earlier on, and now he's gone all in.
Game shot. Like, watch
the overs is now 220.
Here we
if
go.
you're watching this, guys, watch Dubey's body position. The man that never moves his feet. Watch the shape that he gets into. How has he hit a massive 6 straight down the ground off Pat Cummins here? Watch it. He's gone pace off, hasn't he?
Yeah.
And he's somehow...
And his weight's going sideways.
That's ridiculous strength. That's ridiculous. He's on one leg. The other leg is dangling over here somewhere. He's on his wrong leg, and he's muscled that straight.
So
for
where's
a
he
massive
strong?
six. Everywhere.
Core.
Yeah.
It is, isn't it? It's
again-
definitely core.
Again, I'm not one.
Oh,
that
that is spun.
Usually comment.
He's gone for a wide
He's
then.
trying to bowl cutters and pace off into the
Yeah.
pitch here.
But that pinged off the pitch.
Yeah,
If he
it
gets
was,
that, if he pitches that on middle stump, he's probably going to wicket because I don't know how you hit that ball.
Yeah, the top's gone. It's turning. That's it.
Oh, Shabazz could come on.
Exactly, yeah. So do you think catch is mitt then?
Hey?
Catch is mitt for keepers, and then just sort of.
I mean, you might be able to practice that style.
Yeah.
So you know the story about the Australian Major League Baseballer who went to McGrath and went behind with the catcher's mitt, and that's why we have. This is going to be another one. Slog this away over mid wicket, and he's going to get a
Oh, yeah.
I think that's
Four?
four. Yeah, Samad knows it's four.
So Dave Nielsen was his name, and he was an all-star in Major League Baseball. So he said to McGrath, "I'll take it," and he just went behind with the mitt. And because McGrath's so accurate, he just picked them all off, and that's how we got the split finger slower ball. Because he said to him, "Why don't you try this ball?" But the point being is, it is possible to do that.
Yeah.
But I still also think, in a normal wicket-keeping way, you can. Have you ever kept?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I'm a keeper. Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, yeah. That's
If
why my
you've got a-
fingers are all.
If you've got a broken finger
Yeah.
and you're keeping, you naturally do that anyway.
Yeah.
Right, so for me, because I was a leg spinner, I didn't want to damage my right hand, so I was like, I'm going to take him a little bit more left-handed dominant all the time, and I'm crap at keeping.
Yeah.
Right, Heinrich Klaassen far better than me. You won't hear it often.
There you go.
Maybe not, as he lets a bye through for absolutely no reason.
Tries to stop it with his non-existent
Pads,
pads.
yeah.
That's the mistake he made there. Going back to indoor cricket, a couple of things about indoor cricket. One, it's the only form of cricket I'm good at because it's mega fast, isn't it? And I'm quite good at against the fast stuff. And I played in a league where you got a run per wall that you hit when you're batting.
Yeah.
And I'm really good at angling it, using the pace to make it bounce off the walls. But we're going to offer indoor cricket a decimal soon. That you'll be able to bet on indoor cricket. We're going to get some leagues going and have proper streams and a proper product and all that, and that's going to be really good.
Do you want to hear something really nation-specific for indoor cricket?
Yeah.
So I've only played it in two countries, Australia and England. In Australia, I wouldn't bowl wrist spin because people play wrist spin pretty well. And what I would do is I would bowl big hooping outswingers because Australians can't hit the ball when it's swinging, and then back to the hand slower balls, right? So it's basically Damien Fleming with Simon O'Donnell's back there. There's one for the kids. And that's what I would do. And then I came over to the UK and I started bowling outswing, and everyone's playing the outswinger, just smashing me everywhere. And I was like, I wonder if I go back to no one hit me. And so you do realise how different the cultures are. We've got a list here of the most Man of the Match awards in the IPL.
Oh yes, please.
It's obviously a list of very good players, Munners. You're going to be shocked to know. But there's a couple of interesting ones here. Ajiki Rahane has 13 Man of the Match awards.
He's played 700 games.
Yeah, that is true. 12 of them good, apparently, and one that he was lucky, I reckon. Oh, this is a beautiful shot by Shibam Dubé. I'm sorry, you should let that go through your legs. How dare you stop that? And I'm not even worried about my overs anymore because I'm about 10 over the line at the moment.
Yeah. You're flying, absolutely flying.
Gautam Gambhir, 13.
Yeah.
But I'll go from the top. De Villiers has 25, Chris Gale 22, Rohit Sharma 19, David Warner 18. So far, the only player in that top list of the top four that's not an opener is De Villiers, which just tells you why he was the greatest of all time.
What if they'd have made him an opener? Imagine then.
MS Dhoni at 17, Virat Kohli 16, Yusuf Pathan 16 times.
So he was.
This could go. Oh, he's hit this high. It should be caught, really. Oh, he's found the pocket. They're going to get a couple there. We're not on twos in this game.
We're
but
getting closer to possibly
Unad
my
Cup?
favourite thing ever happening.
Feel it, it's palpable.
Icon's
How,
gonna be
yeah.
100 not out, and that cat's going to bowl the 20th.
I told you that would
Go
happen.
for 50 runs. Yeah, I can't wait for this. I'm going to lose my under 9.5 Chennai sixes bet, I think. I'm only allowed another two. They're gonna get
Right,
more than
yeah.
that.
So I just heard from the producers that the line for the 19th over is 13.5.
Yeah, I'm all good with that, but there might be a real bowler bowling that. I think that might be Natarajan bowling.
Yep.
And I'd rather be unders than overs actually for him because I think he is capable of finding. But we've seen here against Dubé, and Maraudin Dubé, if you miss your length by that, it's 6.
So the current run line, so we've got 2 overs to go.
Yeah.
The run line for the match is still 220.
Okay.
Um,
We're expecting 28 more runs, is what they're saying.
yeah. So that's 13 off one,
Right.
15 off the other.
That's fine, but it ain't enough for the cat.
So let's say we get 13 off this over.
Yeah.
And then Unacat is... Oh, he's bowling down! Oh my God, quick everyone! Quick everyone! Unacat!
13 and a half is... they didn't know that Unacat was one. How could you predict that he bowls the 19th? The 19th suggests you think he's better than Natarajan.
I think they've just made an error here, haven't they? Or are they just terrified?
Wait for a double wicket maiden now.
I'm now going to watch an over go for 38.
Unacat coming in to bowl. Left arm fast, it's in the slot. This could be a wicket. And he's got this off nowhere. And he's found the pocket, of course. He can't do anything right, this poor man. And they've stolen a 2. There's a run-out chance there, by the way.
Dubé ran a 2.
I think it's close.
It could be a
Well, it's close because it's Shivam Dubé trying to run a 2.
He wears concrete boots, so running is really hard.
There was 2. Name another top order player in this competition. Rakeem Cornwall's getting back for 2 there, guys.
He's 7'6". Like
he's lost a bit of timber in fairness. He's in good shape.
Hey, he's good over the first couple of steps.
He's lost a little bit of timber. Yeah.
My absolute
Here we go. We're just seeing the replay here. You can tell
if
from
this is out, the cat might get away with the over because it's new batting now.
But if it's Dhoni, he's got in, hasn't he? Do you want Dhoni facing this over if you're in a cat?
Yeah, it's just going to go for boatloads of runs. He nearly got the pole there, though. That's the thing with the cat, because you know they're going 100% aggression against him here.
He should get wickets because they honestly do not respect him at all.
Right. And I understand that.
Okay, Shivam Dubé's got a strike rate of 231 in the last 2 overs, and this is a bad ball. He's got away with this though. It was the slower ball bouncer that Shivam Dubé could have headbutted for 6 if he wanted to, and in the end he was almost in 2 minds, and he's ended up dragging it down to fine leg for 1.
That's where premeditation can hurt you. Because if you adjust to that, you just ramp it over.
But if you're going to bowl the slow ball bouncer, that's a good height. Because it's up there and you fetch.
Oh yeah. It wasn't a bad ball.
Justice for the cat.
It wasn't a good bad
Justice.
Unless Gaikwad is too tired here, he's shelving him for 6.
Okay, so over or under on 20 runs for this over right now?
It feels like overs to me.
You're still all in.
What have they got? 3 off 2.
Push the chips in.
Yeah. 2.62 boundary next ball.
By the way, Chennai's at 140 at the moment.
More than 3.5.
Yeah.
Cat in again. Around the wicket to Gaikwad. That should have been a wide. It's going to be hit for 4. No, he's missing it again. Into the pocket. They're going to get 2.
Cat is bowling with a magic ball or something here because they can't time it. They've not timed any of those 3.
Wow. The run lines actually come in his bowling so
you
well.
Come back. This is a wrong line as well. Bet365 here have got under 14.5 at evens for the next over. And it's going to be Natarajan. The market won't give it 14.5, I don't think. So that's evens. That's quite a good bet. I'd quite like the unders. And if the cat pulls off the miracle and gets a wicket here, then it brings it down more.
9 balls to go. 197 is the score. Chennai massive favourites here against Sunrisers because no team has managed to chase 200 in this tournament yet.
I mean, that's quite short, isn't it?
It's ridiculous numbers.
1.4.
There's a lot of trust in Patharana there. This is another slow ball. He's got away with this.
Oh my word.
There should be a run out, in fact. They're going to get a second run. Oh, that's bad cricket, actually.
That should have been 9 runs, that ball. I don't know how he's hit.
Look how angry you are. By the way, if we were betting the 2s in this over, we could have built a second wing on our house.
8.2 for no, hang on. Where are we with the 2? It's 7.8.
Yep, we've had 3 of them.
That feels okay right now, doesn't it?
Run lines into 217 at the moment.
Been unlucky to only go for this many. The fielders haven't helped him.
He's done his job here. Poor Rob Barron might not be able to afford train fare home. So many.
I've never seen a man so short.
It was the same thing yesterday when Fraser McGirt was facing the first over. It's like, I know this is going for millions. It's absolutely fine.
But that one did. And here it comes in again. It's a slow ball outside of stump. Oh my God! It's going to be a single.
And Nadcat has bowled a good death over. I've never seen that before.
Exhibition in death bowling here, isn't it? Fantastic.
Actually, need a 6 off the last ball. Actually, need a 6. No other result is good. But,
for you, but can you still pull this out?
Yeah, if Nadcat hits a 6. If this ball goes for 6,
who would you rather have on strike, Dubé or Gaikwad? It has to be Dubé for 6s.
Yeah, just about. Yeah, he needs to. He just needs to pick it because he's not picked any of these yet. I'm really surprised that the market is 1.44 in favour of Chennai here, because the market must have expected this over to go. It must have done. I've never seen a nightcap bowl at the death and not get.
Yeah, you're right. The odds should have changed wildly in this over, and they haven't. So they're still expecting a 6 of the last ball, which I absolutely love. The run line's into 215. Unadkat. He's coming over the wicket to the left-hander. It's in the slot. It's smashed straight to mid-off. It's a top ball! It's a top ball! Rob Barron is broke. That is the end of Rob Barron's career right here.
Wow.
We saw it on Cricket8. We will have no more Rob
I
Barron.
can't believe it. There wasn't a wicket in that over. A Nadcat bowled it at the death. He bowled a dot, but he didn't get hit for a boundary. I think if I was sat there with loaded betting accounts, I think I'd have emptied a few of them on that.
Yeah.
There's no way of explaining that. But has the ball gone soft, Jarrod? Like, I'm looking for reasons how a Nadcat
they got
bowled a
sixes
death
before,
over.
though,
Did he
didn't
bowl
they?
a good over then? You have to say he did, didn't he?
He bowled okay, yeah. I've got out on my overs bet because I am a little worried that the ball has gone soft.
Yeah.
I didn't even get myself a sneaky middle of 1 run where I could have got the exact score and got some money, just because I was watching that. So if you remember, I went in for the overs before and over 214, and now I've gone under 214 as well. And I just don't trust it at the moment. I do think if Unadkat does not get hit for runs, everything I've ever believed about cricket could be wrong. Or I'm a genius and I've got out of that. But we've talked about this so much. When that ball gets soft at the end, the ability to hit sixes really can be pulled back. There's probably 3 balls in that over you should have hit Unadkat for 6. But I still think he bowled a good over, especially for him.
For a Nadcat, he bowled way above what we thought.
Oh, they've got another dot ball here.
Do you
Good
know,
work behind Rick Clarkson.
Do you know why they didn't run the bye then? And this is wrong, because Gaikwod's on 98. That's why they didn't run the bye. I don't like that. It's not. We're not here to watch.
Gaikwad wouldn't have been run out anyway, would he?
But they didn't run the bye, and I'm sure it's because he's on 98.
Okay, the odds have finally changed a little bit. You can still get Sunrisers around 3, so really good value.
Yeah.
But
I can't believe that 1.4 then. But I think, honestly, the market was just saying, well, this over's going for 25, so we have to be short here.
If the ball was soft for Unadkat, unfortunately Natarajan has got a wicket, so it's still soft. So I was right, and I'm glad that I hedged at the last minute there, and I called that perfectly. As you could tell, I knew that was going to be caught from the moment he hit that. I wasn't at all thinking, Munners, that was going 43 rows back.
It looked like, for all money, that looked like it was going to the moon. And it's just.
I think maybe that the air has gone out the ball again.
Yeah.
You also kind of have to get out when there's 4 balls left, because Dhoni must bat.
Oh,
that's
at home too.
That's a rule. But he's off strike here, so this is definitely going to be a single. Everyone knows the rules here. This will be a ball on Jube's pads that he'll knock for 1.
Natarajan's got that ball wrong too. If you're going to bowl the cutter, you have to get it a little bit shorter than that. And
Well played, Gaikwad.
yeah, 98 of 54. It was a very good innings. It could end up being 30, 40 runs short though. Not the innings, but
I know what you mean. We did manage to get on under 14.5 at evens for this over, which normally would be in great shape, but you've got MS Dhoni probably going to face 3, so that's due 14 in current MS form. It's absolutely crazy how good he is at. Is he 42 MS?
he's old.
He's old. He's
Yeah.
definitely old.
42 is not old enough.
What's the
He's 42.
what would you do? I mean, we'll talk about the actual match market in a moment.
Yeah.
But I'd be very interested to know on what you still think these. You can get about 65 for the run line on Betfair for the first 6 overs from Sunrisers, which seems friendly. For the 10 overs, you can make your own market because no one's put any money in there. But my point is, you could probably put some money in there and catch some fish.
Right, so some people try and do that. There's been no money matched in the second inning 6 overs line yet because everyone's.
Well, that's unfair. £47.
Oh, that's true. So no one's got any money left because everyone's just fired in on a Nadcats over to go for $1 million.
Well, not all of us. Me and Munners didn't go in.
No.
As this is slipped away from MS Dhoni, and it should have been caught. But because it's at Chennai, the ball and the magnets have been dragged to the boundary, and he gets a 4.
Yeah, the remote control ball that they're now using. The old one had gone soft, but now they put a remote control ball on, and if it's going to a fielder's hands, there's an MS Dhoni setting, which means it then suddenly drops and goes straight through him into the boundary for 4. And that's what we've just seen there. So he gets 4s off balls that everybody else gets out on. He's a genius.
I wouldn't mind here a couple of extra boundaries to get us back to slightly nicer odds for Sunrisers. No, am I right?
I think the first 6 overs is the play.
I've really bet on that.
Because just have more on. But the lines it's great because they've got 200 and they get but you don't have to worry with SRH that they may or may not go for it. Like RCB got loads on a power play earlier in the season because they were chasing loads and they had to. Whereas SRH play the same way every time they
Single,
gun it
yeah.
at the start. So just to give you a few bets for the next innings already.
Yes, go.
I think I've burgled my under 9.5 Chennai sixes here somehow. With a Nadcat bowling at the death. A Nadcat didn't go run to the death.
So how many sixes have we had in this inning?
7. So I need. Yeah, I've just about got away with it.
You're under 9.5,
Mhm.
so you have got away with it. Is there 2 balls left or 3?
I think it's 2.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Got away with it somehow.
So that's another winner. We talked about that before the game.
Yeah, we had Rahane unders. We had sixes unders. Anyway, let's not go on about the winner. We're on SRH highest first 6 over score, aren't we?
Yeah.
Which that's going to win. I like the 6 in first over of the chase, which is 5. I think that's too big with the way Abhishek and Head have been going. You can get 3-1 or bigger on Travis Head top bat. I would back that. That's fair enough. What else is there?
How many balls does he need to be top bat? What's the minimum amount of balls he can be top scorer?
19?
Yeah, I think
something
so.
like that.
This is a
Whoa.
beautiful hit from Shivam Dubey. He went for the Yorker again, Natarajan. He didn't miss it by much. Natarajan might have played himself in this tournament into the World Cup squad, by the way, but that one he got wrong, and he was met. Maybe Unadkat would be their death bowler. Have we got any more? Have we got any more bets for the second innings?
Let's have a look. I mean, I've given you a few there. I don't actually like pumping the first overs for SRH because they simply haven't scored off it, which is a huge surprise because all their first 6 over scores are massive. But for whether it's they have a look or whether they take 1 minute to get going, but they haven't been crushing the first over, so I'm not really interested in that. What else have I backed here? Oh, we've got quite a big bet on Patharana to get the as the under 14.5 cops due to a good bit of fielding by the cat.
Did you back under 14.5 on that over?
Yeah.
I feel like I'm not on the broadcast.
It's just.
Hang on, I said when I was
No,
getting
you-
very excited about the cat, I
Yeah.
said that they're giving the last over 14.5 under
Oh, okay.
evens, and that's too big because we've got the cat bowling now, and not the last. Patharana top bowler 3-1 is very good.
65. If you can get anything around 65 or 70 runs for the top 6 first 6 overs, are you going overs?
They could get 100. They really could.
Okay, so that's certainly one that everyone should be taking a look at there. But that's it for us from this innings on Cricket 8. I'm Jarrod Kimber. I've got Munners from Dealt With Cricket here and Rob Barron. We'll be back after the break for more of this madness. And if you'd like the personal address of Rob Barron after he made you lose all of his money on Unadkat, honestly, live at cricket8.com, and we'll probably give it to you.
Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello and welcome back to India on Cricket 8, your number one destination for all things Indian cricket related. As always, I'm your host, Nikesh Ragani, alongside Megha Sinha. We're here to look at the latest goings-on in this season's IPL. And, well, what better place to start than yesterday's game? We're recording this on a Tuesday, if you are listening to us back on a podcast feed. And, Sunrisers Hyderabad breaking records once again. And RCB running them pretty close. I mean, over 500 runs, Megha, in 40 overs. Cricket's gone mad, hasn't it?
It's been a week since we last connected and we last did our podcast. But then things have changed. There's one thing that has stayed constant, and that is RCB losing. And yet again, obviously, there was this innings from Dinesh Karthik, but in the end, it was just too much for him to surmount from there. And runs being scored against RCB at the Chinnaswamy, fans being heartbroken, that's become a refrain. We see that year after year. But talk about RCB's bowling. It has been an issue. There's been much lamentation over it, but then nothing changes. And you still see your bowlers getting tanked for so many runs.
Yeah, I mean, look, bowling at the Chinnaswamy as a fast bowler is no easy task. I mean, we always see runs scored there. It's just one of those places, really. It's like a fast bowler's graveyard almost. But when other sides are able to go there and do the business and get those results against RCB, I mean, this season they've got just the one win so far this season. We're nearly approaching the halfway stage as well. So they're almost done and dusted as far as the season's concerned already. And when you look at some of the bowlers that they've had in the past, yes, they have made investments in the likes of Mitchell Starc in years gone by. I mean, Harsha Patel was with them for a while as well, and he had a lot of success as part of that franchise. But just as a unit, they just don't ever seem to click. I mean, Mohammad Siraj wasn't playing in that game, but he's been a little bit off colour. Reece Topley comes in with a couple of really good performances. You think this guy's going to be world class for them. And yesterday goes for 68 runs in his 4 overs. I mean, you know, Yash Dayal, that experiment hasn't quite worked. It's just an absolute nightmare. And on the other hand, when you look at them with the bat, they've got the orange cap holder in Virat Kohli. Faf du Plessis back in some form. Yeah, Glenn Maxwell, you know, almost dropped himself, didn't we? We'll get to that in a moment. And Dinesh Karthik's hitting form as a finisher and scoring lots of crucial runs at a brilliant strike rate. So the batting is almost there as to how they'd won it. You know, in a perfect world, Glenn Maxwell would be firing as well. And then you've got a really solid unit there. But it's still pretty decent. The numbers are good. The numbers are not bad when you compare it across all other teams. But it's just that bowling, isn't it? And I don't know where they address that. They haven't got a quality spinner. Yeah. So maybe that's an issue. But apart from that, I mean, the fast bowling, just let's take a look at that. What is going? Can you put your finger on it? Is it just the conditions at the Chinnaswamy? Is it the lack of experience? Is it the lack of X factor with that extra speed? You know, I just can't put my finger on it.
The more things change, the more they remain constant. And, you know, we could be going back to say 2015, 2016, the conversation would have remained the same. The batters are firing, the bowlers are not contributing. Akashdeep is a part as well. Mohammad Siraj, there's this thing about Mohammad Siraj. On his day, he can win you trophies. Like he won India that Asia Cup clash, and that was some sort of jinx as well, because India had been making it that far to the finals and then not going that one step ahead and lifting the trophy. He has that in him. He has that X factor in him. But consistency, and it was for the RCB that he actually found that consistency for a few seasons, but that too has gone missing. And it's a very important point that you made. Yuzvendra Chahal, for all the time that he was there at the RCB 2014 onwards, he did deliver the goods for the team. But then there weren't other bowlers stepping up. And then you'd see whichever death bowler RCB tried, he'd be taken for plenty. Similarly, this season as well, there might have been performances here and there in the bowling department, but a lot of it also goes back to the decisions that they made at the auction table. They had that time, they had that money as well to actually shore up their bowling department. We don't see an experienced name who could actually make much of a difference. I'd cite the example of Sunrisers Hyderabad here. Sunrisers Hyderabad, for the longest time, they'd be that team who'd somehow managed to sneak into the playoffs. That stopped happening because of the inexperience in the batting department. They retained some of their Indian players and uncapped Indian players, but then they got somebody like Travis Head, who now is delivering the goods for them. So finally, they also have experience, pedigree in that lineup, and that's why the performances are also coming. For RCB, those boxes just don't seem to get ticked. And like I mentioned earlier, it's the same. Every year.
Kohli continues to churn out the runs, though. Orange cap firmly still on his head, and it was a lovely sort of opening partnership between him and Faf at the top, put on 80 in 6 overs. They gave everyone a little bit of hope, didn't they? And brilliant from Dinesh Karthik at the end as well, just giving them that sniff and keeping them in with an outside chance of maybe chasing that one down. But let's talk about the Sunrisers, though. 287 for 3. And look, we look at T20 totals and all-time totals, and maybe I'm being a little bit disrespectful here, but nobody really cares about Mongolia versus Nepal. I think that was the one, 314, the only T20 total that's higher than this. I mean, you know, let's not talk about the standard of cricket and the standard of bowling during that particular match. In what I would consider, you know, top-tier cricket, this is the world record now, 287 for 3. Travis Head at the centre of it, as you say, 102 from just 41 balls. We didn't know about a year or so ago if he had this kind of game in him. Was he a T20 player? I mean, he started scoring test centuries and started becoming a permanent fixture in Australia's test side. And then all of a sudden, you know, played a massive role in that ODI World Cup win. And here he is in the IPL bossing it again. He just seems to do nothing wrong at the moment, backed up by the likes of Abhishek Sharma at the top of the order. Heinrich Klaasen, probably one of the best finishers in the modern game at the moment, 67 from 31. And then you've got the likes of Aiden Markram and Abdul Samad. I mean, Samad just went mad at the end, didn't he? 37 from 10, 4 fours, 3 sixes in those 10 balls. It just looks like an absolutely gun batting lineup. And then you've still got Shabazz Ahmed and even Pat Cummins, who didn't get a bat yesterday because they weren't needed. I mean, it's pretty scary. Is there a more intimidating batting lineup in the IPL?
Not, and the numbers attest to that, because Sunrisers Hyderabad, after that game against the RCB, leapfrogged the KKR team to become the team to score the fastest runs, and they've gone at over 10 per over in this IPL, which is mind-boggling. You talked about Travis Head, and there's this meme doing rounds on the internet that whenever he sees the color blue, there's something in him that gets fired up. Beat the Indian team, beat the Mumbai Indians, and now the RCB, there is a patch of blue on their jerseys as well. And apart from that, of course, the stability, the sort of course, he goes hammer and tongs from the beginning, but just the sort of assurance that he brings at the top. Abhishek Sharma, SRH invested a lot in him over the last few years, and finally that is coming off consistently. We also have to remember that he can also chip in with his left arm spin. So we are looking at a player who can serve that franchise for a very long time to come, provided the two decide to stick together. And then again, Aiden Markram, he has been in good form this season. Last season, somehow probably captaincy took toll on his performances. And Klaasen, what a class he has been displaying last season as well, scored huge runs for them. Before that, there were sporadic performances, but this time around, and just the fact that all of those players have the assurance that if not me, there'd be others chipping in. And they've been doing that for a considerable while now, considering that it's multiple weeks since the IPL started. So just that confidence, just that swag, and whichever team is coming in front of them, they are simply creating scores, scoring so many runs that it's just becoming difficult from there on in the chase.
Yeah, absolutely killing it at the moment, and certainly in terms of run scoring, they're up into the top 4 as we speak at the moment as well. 8 points, 4 wins from their 6 games. Really solid start to the season, and former champions, of course, of the IPL. It's been a few years, but they certainly look like contenders if they keep scoring those types of runs. Nobody will want to come up against that kind of a batting unit in this season's competition. Look, other batters who've been performing well of late, we've talked about Kohli, Klaasen, Head, all those guys. Dinesh Karthik, of course. Rohit Sharma, a lot of criticism at the start of the season when he was, getting set at the crease, let's say, but wasn't quite delivering on those big scores. It's been a long time coming, hasn't it? In 2012 was his last IPL century. Obviously, he's got a few more for India during that time. And he's been a consistent enough performer. He's won 5 IPL titles, basically, since the last time that he scored an IPL century. So a lot has happened.
We're back. Cricket8 live stream here with Jarrod and Rob, the man who just lost people loads of money. Talk us through that. So he's going to make some back now, right?
Yeah.
And how are we doing that?
So if you stuck with Cricket8 all weekend, we've given you winners absolutely all over the place. At some of them at really big prices. Yesterday's first over was, I could have just gone home after that and got the train home. Thanks very much. We've given you 6 winners. I got very excited that Anadkat was going to bowl at the death then. And I think in my defence, and it's only in my defence because it's lucky, you probably didn't have enough time to get on because we didn't think he was going to bowl the 19th at all. And I was like, what do you mean it's 12.5 or 13.5 for Anadkat bowling the 19th? But you would have had about 4 seconds to get on that one. We try and give people bets. We went on early yesterday to tell everybody, look, this is what you should be on. It comes from lots of work. That was a very much, I've seen Anadkat bowl an awful lot, and I've never seen him bowl well at the death ever. I still maintain that he's terrible at it. But we're on stuff this innings. We're on Patharana quite strong at 3-1 to be top, and you can get a little bit bigger out there. But there's a lot of firms at 3-1 to be top Chennai wicket taker, which I really like. I think he's head and shoulders above the rest of their attack, to be honest. and in terms of wicket taking, look at his strike rate this season, he's getting a wicket every 13 balls or something. It's not outlandish to suggest that this lot are going to get loads of runs in the first 6, but we're on... How many did Chennai get, Jarrod? 50, thank you, Jarrod. So they got 50, so we're on over 50 at 5 to 6. You got 5 to 6, I took 8 to 11.
Yeah.
I think that's a great bet. So if you followed us in on that one, you're in good shape. Like I said, I'm not blasting over for the first over. I love first over betting. I think like it. There's loads of stats that I don't think the bookies pay enough attention to. Abhishek to hit a 6, if you can get any prices about. I'll just say this, like, shop around for your bookies. I've backed 4 to 1 that there'll be a 6 in this first over now. But if you can get, if these two are in and you can get north of evens for a 6 in an over, back it, because Abhishek is a 6 monster this IPL.
Would you wait until the second over for that?
I backed it first over at 5 because it's too big.
Yeah, no, fair enough.
But
because they don't always go strong from the first couple of balls.
No, this lot tend to actually, bizarrely, take their time in the first over. But I don't know who's going to bowl it today. Could be Deshpande. I doubt it's going to be spin. It's probably Chahar, isn't it? Who'll be looking for swing.
Should be Chahar.
And if he gets swing, the over will go for 5, and he might get Travis Head out because Head won't leave it. Head will definitely try and mow it. And if they bowled spin at Head the other day, which a lot of people think is a good idea early, and he couldn't resist it, and he got out in the first over. Yeah, with this lot, they're a brilliant watch, SRH. So I think you'll be enjoying it.
Yeah, that's what I want. I want absolute carnage, and this is a batting lineup that looks like it could be absolute carnage.
I feel like you got more Cricket8 energy in that innings though than we did in the first game.
Yeah, definitely.
The Uno Cat moment certainly.
I was really.
And the Shabazz.
I was really invested in your over. Really invested in that. And I don't know. Maybe I should have mentioned it more. You know.
I could see in your face. You were more invested in it than I was because I was pretty confident for a while.
Because it was 212 in it, wasn't it?
Hey,
212 they got.
See, that's how much.
So-
Once
so-
I tuned out,
What did you bet?
I had over 214.
Oh,
And then at one stage the line was 220. I could have gone for a lovely little middle,
Yeah.
but I thought to myself, Uno Cat was coming on, so I figured I wouldn't need to.
I honestly think a lot of people will have, as we see that Shardul Thakur is coming in as the impact sub. Well, that's fun.
But certainly an impact.
And yet the Sunrisers price is not contracting in front of our very eyes. Guys, Thakur's going to bowl. I love watching Thakur again. Like he's done quite well to have the career he's had. I used to back in top bowler every time he played for India because everyone rated him as really bad, but he got all the wickets that Bumrah should have got at the other end because they were seeing Bumrah off and then teeing off against him and he was getting caught long on, long off. One thing I used to bet a lot when I knew Chahar was bowling was wide first ball because he looks for that swing, and if he lands it slightly wide then it swings wide for the wide first ball, and you used to be able to get Stuart Meeker, who's been in that chair a couple of times, absolutely loved that. But I told him about it the first time we were on, and it happened immediately. And then he's like, "What about wide first ball next time? What about wide first ball?" And then it happened again.
And it was like 28 to 1 or something, wasn't it?
20 to 1 we backed.
Yeah.
First ball 4 it is. Crash.
I'm pretty excited about my over.
Yeah.
If we're being honest.
And they don't do that. Let me find the stats from SRH. So first ball 4 is something that we backed a few times this weekend, and it copped straight away because of Fraser McGirt yesterday, and hasn't since. We got second ball 4 earlier, didn't we? But these guys have. I mean, if they manage to start scoring off the first over as well, they're going to get 200 in the first 6 overs. Let's have a look at some stats. Jarrod's quiet, so you know he's betting.
No, what I was going to ask you is there any bookmakers doing any interesting things at the moment was going to be my question.
Yeah, I replied to your message, mate. We're
on air together.
So SRH, if my phone will let me have a look, SRH are over 1. So their first ball, this is incredible for a team that are scoring so many runs in the first 6. They had 8 first balls this IPL, 6 of them dots and 2 singles.
Wow.
And they're the gunniest team in the first 6 overs. That's the first time they've hit a first ball 4. I mean, even Chennai have hit a first ball 4 before. But their first 6 numbers are absolutely extraordinary. And as I said earlier, the other thing that I'm on is over 19.5 for their highest over, because they've got over 21, 7 games out of 8. And it's Abhishek's turn to have a go now. That should have gone, that leg side pie. Abhishek on strike, this is where I can get my 6 because I think he's going to try and smash it for 6 here. But yeah, for loyal fans of Cricket8, if ever Jarrod Kimber is quiet, it means he's wheedling away betting there in the corner.
I tell you what I'm trying to do is, unfortunately, there's something wrong with one of my accounts and it won't let me deposit money in.
Always a good sign when you're midway through a game.
Yeah. Well, we'll keep giving it a go.
While you were burrowing into your phone there, I just noticed that CSK have an ultras section and they all had flares out.
Yeah, I saw that too. Yeah,
That'd be
and
fun, wouldn't
yellow
it?
flares.
Yeah,
I just thought you don't want to be. That's a good ball from Jahar there. That was
Really late swing,
Yeah.
really nice.
Played well. Here's a man that's going to be fun to watch today, Deshpande. Deshpande bowls a surprising amount of dots, like really surprising amount of dots. And that is an angle for when he comes on, because everyone thinks he's going to go for runs, and quite often he does, but he still has an extremely high dot percentage. I'm just looking around now, and they're 2.5 for a dot already, which is very high for the first over. Decimal sat there at 2.1. Let's have a look. Oh, they've managed to beat the line for the first over here. Didn't you back highest first over to be SRH today?
I didn't in the end because I've watched enough of them bat, and I decided I got the better odds on the other one. So when I went to put the second bet on, I saw this, and I just figured I can't see how they get beaten unless they're 8 down for first 6 overs. But first over, a couple of times I've watched them, and they just haven't been going as hard early on. I mean, what was the first over? Chennai 5, 4?
4, I think.
Yeah, so I would have got it, but I was more confident in the other bet. So
Sure.
I think that's fair, isn't it?
Yeah, of course it is, yeah. You don't have to bet on absolutely everything.
Well, you say that.
Swing and the leave in the first over there. But that's a proper Chahar over there. Like he erred a bit on the first ball, but 7 for none. This market is going to believe very strongly in this chase if they start whacking here. At the moment, I am really surprised that you can get 2.42.
That feels really long.
Yeah. Thoughts, Kimber?
Based on that first over, I can understand why they haven't changed all that much, but I already thought that was too short. I wish I'd gone in earlier. Did they get to 2.7, 2.8 at one stage?
It was 3.5 at one point. Remember when we said this 1.4 is crackers?
Yeah.
So it's 3.5 the other way.
Yeah, I think that's when I really wanted to get in. I certainly think I was kind of waiting for Chennai to boom the score at the end. Yeah. So I assumed we'd get 30 runs off the last 2 overs, which is why I went on the overs to begin with. And because of that, the odds would get to like 3.5, 3.7, and I would be able to go all in. And that never quite happened. So, yeah, I mean,
Deshpande.
Well, this is going to go,
Wow.
and that's 6. That was on the pads and flicked away, and yeah.
It's coming there.
There's going to be new favourites in 1 ball's time if he bowls that ball again, because if he bowls that ball again, it's going for even more than 6.
So anyone who got on that price.
If Travis Head was asleep, he would hit that ball for 6. That's swinging down the leg side, and he's just picked it up. It must feel good to be that good at batting.
Imagine that.
What
are you that good at anything?
Yeah, hockey goalkeeping.
Not betting?
I'm not the best in the world of all time at betting, but I think I probably was at hockey goalkeeping.
Okay.
Yeah. By a long way, actually. 4 more.
No.
There's a man. They have fielders.
Well, you've got to have them somewhere, I suppose.
Good tactics. They didn't have any to Daryl Mitchell earlier when he was getting his 50.
Is that field hockey?
Yeah, I used to play many years ago.
I'd hope so. Otherwise, claiming you're the best in the world would have been pretty.
Yeah, I played for GB when I was a kid.
There you go.
But I retired. But I retired at 19 because they couldn't handle me. I was too much vibes. And went to play sports I was much worse at instead. Yeah, not a great career arc, to be completely honest. Got really good, quit.
Here we
Bang.
go again.
Oh,
You know what I said about backing 6s for these guys? 6s in over, they can't help themselves. And you have to be so much shorter than you normally are when you're trading. By the way, we said back Abhishek to hit a 6.
Yeah.
That didn't take very long, Jarrod. But 6 in over, like...
What was that? What was Abhishek? 1.3?
1.5 to hit a 6. And again, it sounds short, and I said, like, I'm not here to tip out 1.5 shots, but he's hit a 6 in every single game, and you know he's going to try to. Some bats, you're like, I'm not sure which Mitchell I'm going to get. I'm not sure which Jadeja I'm going to get. Is it the Jadeja that's pinch blocking and he's not trying to hit 6s? I know he's going to try and hit 6s, and he's in amazing form. The only thing he hasn't done this IPL, you can't back in top bat Abhishek because he never goes on. He gets out for 30 odd every time, but he's always done his job because he does it off 7 balls.
Oh, single. I wasn't expecting that, if I'm being honest. Just push that on the offside. So Deshpande, well, he's due a few wickets today. He usually gets wickets when he goes for runs.
Yeah, he's a great watch, Deshpande. I don't know how much Munners you've seen of Deshpande. He's just, stuff always happens when he plays. He's great. I actually backed him most wickets in this IPL, which he's a long way off. But you got to get behind Deshpande.
Always.
The highest first 6 bet's looking quite good here, Jarrod. His head
That
might
is
be out.
Man
He's
out
out.
there.
Gone.
Oh, that's interesting.
Big wicket.
It's Deshpande. It's 14 for 1 or 5 Deshpande balls. That's what happens.
We just said runs and wickets, right?
That's a massive poll. It went all the way out to 1.9 and we're back into 1.57. That's a huge wicket and he can't resist it. He's just mistimed it, hasn't it? He hasn't found the middle. He's trying to hit that straight. MS knew immediately that it was gone. Mitchell don't drop them.
Big hands. Big
Yeah.
everything.
That's 2 runs if Tim David's underneath that.
Well, that has changed things a little bit. So what did they get into?
1.9, oh sorry, 2.1 Sunrisers, and now they're all the way back out to 2.8, and it should move loads for him. Do they go Reddy number 3 here?
Do you go
You don't go Klassen.
Well,
You don't go Markram.
Do you go Markram?
No, you got to bash this power play. You've got to bash the power play.
Okay. I was thinking they might go Markram while Abhishek's there.
If they go Markram, then just line up all your money to back Abhishek next out because that will probably happen. But let's see what price they go. I don't think it's Markram. I'd be very surprised because the way you chase these is we thought it might have got a bit trickier towards the end because I don't know if anybody watched it, but an Adcat bowled quite a good death over and that can't happen. So you want to score the runs now, and they're a great power play team, this lot. Usually when they lose one, it doesn't slow them down. Let's have a look at the first 6-9. It's still 63. I couldn't possibly bet until I know who's batting. If it's Markram unders, and if it's other people, probably overs.
So it's 288 is the line here at the moment on. So they've dropped 100 points almost after that wicket.
It's huge. It is a huge wicket though, because we've seen what Travis Head has done in this.
I mean, that's hit me in my feels quite seriously. That wicket.
That's kind of ruined your day.
Yeah. I'm feeling quite flat after that.
Yeah.
It's hit you in your feels.
It was, yeah.
I'm learning some young people words today.
Young people words from about 9 years ago, but
exactly,
sure.
Yeah.
They've gone someone who it couldn't possibly be. It's Anmolpreet Singh.
Well,
Well, I could have named 9 people that were going to bat next.
And he could be out first ball?
Yep.
He's out first ball.
Thanks for playing, Anmolpreet. That is an impact.
That's a hell of a sub.
That is remarkable. He's trying to work this to the leg side. He's got a leading edge and it's just bobbled up to Moeen Ali at cover. And suddenly the runs, the 213 looks a long way away.
There has never been a more Deshpande over than that one. 6-1, 6-1, wicket. There has never been a better impact sub than that. I'll come in and have a bat and I'll get out to Deshpande. Deshpande rolled his hand around the ball there. Did you see that? Got a lovely bit of shape on that. That's a top ball.
Yeah, it's a really, really good delivery. And to be fair to the batter who's come out first ball, he's thinking to himself, that's a leg stump length ball. I'll work this away. And it's just curved on him. Wow.
Well, that is an impact, isn't it?
Now where do we go? I feel like our vibes, everything has changed. They might be bowled out for 80.
This is possible, and I wish it would have happened a few times in these chases when I've been madly selling second innings runs and they've chased them anyway. I don't have a position here on this chase right now. I was going to tell you loads of stuff about Anmolpreet, but I don't need to because he's made not much of an impact. He was getting stacks of runs in the Indian domestic competition, the first class and the SMAT, and that's obviously why they've gone with him. I've learned absolutely nothing there. I think it was a good ball. And we now have a Markram.
Now, I am nervous about my overs.
Yeah, this is how the overs gets beat now, is Markram slows it down. What do we need? 51?
Yeah.
So what you can do here, if you're mega nervous, is you back under 58.5 and you go for the golden middle. It's quite a big middle to hit. I don't mind that at all because Markram's on strike now, and the chances are he dots a couple up here. So at the moment, anything over 50 wins you cash, and that you can now have it, so you can't lose, and you win 51 to 59. That's a big old middle. You've got a lot of numbers you can hit there.
Let's just see. I want to see what Markram's vibes are.
Yeah.
I reckon he either leaves or blocks this ball now.
He's going to hit this for 6. Reverse switch
Reverse,
hit.
yeah. This is a 6.
Okay.
Markram has been ruining Sunrisers games. Although, of course, he smashes a 4.
That's beautiful.
That's really nice.
Beautiful shot. That
Just
was a
punch that
classical
in.
cricket shot. You don't see many of them anymore.
No.
That on Dew Watch there. Did you see that?
Was it wet?
Yeah, that looked pretty.
He was trying to get a single there. Did you know?
Yeah, that was the deliberate single that's raced away for 4. Chahar is getting less swing, so this is a bit like earlier, a bit like Boov. He was dangerous first over because he was swinging the ball. I think it's gone already, 13 balls, and it'll go now that they've hit the boundary. I fear for Chahar a bit if Abhishek gets on strike. I think Abhishek will try and
the odds went there from 3.5 to 3 after that boundary. It's 310 now, but they are bouncing around.
That's quite the reaction, that.
43 million in the market. It's still not the biggest market in the world. He's hit another one for 4. What is Aiden Markram doing?
Here we go.
Is this because every time he's come off, I reckon the coaches have said, mate, look, there's one way. We are telling everyone to whack it. Stop we want to score 300, and you are ruining all the coolness in this team. And like next time he goes out, and they're like, can you just go out there and just knock him around? He's like, yeah, got this. Whack, whack.
I think Markram's heard some of the chat about him as like, you're the only one that's anchoring this amazing ship of fun. Like, join in, because he can whack it with the best of them, Markram.
He had the World Cup fastest 100 until Maxwell ruined it, right? He does take a little while to get going. He's got quite an anchor mindset. This one just whips away.
He looks like he's bustling with a fair bit more intent today.
This does not look like normal Markram.
Yeah.
So I also think that he's one of the world's worst strike rotators.
Okay.
So if you look up CricViz and their strike rotating stats, you will see that like he averages less strike rotating than like most players do attacking, which is the opposite. Everyone else averages like 110 strike rotating, and he averages like 35 in ODI cricket. And so if I was working with him, I would just say, look, the problem is you are trying to check your shots. When you go through the line, you are big and massive, and you have an incredible eye. There's a lot of dew there. You picked that up, bro.
Yeah.
A lot of dew there. You're big and massive. Just get on top of the ball and try and hit boundaries. And then and you hit so many boundaries, it doesn't matter. Well, Abhishek's still going. So they have not put the driver back in the golf set. I lost that one.
Back in the bag?
Bag.
Back in the bag.
Back in the golf set.
Yep.
Back in the golf set.
The golfer comes with his golf set. Lovely stuff. There is a good bet here.
Okay.
It's with your friends Betfred, Jarrod, and we're only going to do it when he's on strike, but Abhishek next man out at 1.83. That's not right. It's not 50-50 these two. Even with the extra intent of Markram, as Jarrod goes quiet, because he's don't back it until he's on strike.
No, I've got to find it first. I'm not like you.
It's under wickets on the right-hand side of your Betfred.
Thank you. Can you come over and do it?
So you can't do it now anyway, because he's got a single here, I think. Yeah.
And that was the last ball of the over.
Very dart straight ball there from Chahar that has just been nudged around.
So remember here, we'll wait for a single from Markram, although he might hit another 4 or 6 in a moment. But we'll wait for another single here from Markram, and then we're all going, well, we don't all have to do this, but anyone who's betting, going in on Abhishek as the next man out, we're expecting him to go for a lot of 6s. Are you a little bit nervous with the fact that Markram has looked higher intent?
So he has. So I thought I'd be looking at the bookies and they'd be 1.57, and then I wouldn't back it. And I have to factor in the extra intent of Markram, because he's never 8 off 2, is he? That's not what Markram does. He's a palindrome, which I really like, and
Is that your favourite thing about him?
I think it is. Yeah. Like you can't have too many palindromes, can you? So palindromacy aside, I didn't expect to see the number 1.83. That's a bad effort. I don't think they think it's 50-50.
Yeah.
I can't see that. Even with maximum intent Markram and normal intent Abhishek, which is basically maximum, Abhishek's more likely to be out next. Like, he's not as good at staying in as Markram is. And now we've got our single, so we're on.
There you go. Dive in.
I don't know if I have any money in that account. Oh, yes, I do. Okay.
Of course you do, Jarrod. You've been winning money being up all night betting on basketball.
I have. I've got my basketball money in there.
Raving lunatic. Yeah, from a man that hadn't bet before, just again look at that little face.
He's so excited, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
I like pressing the buttons. The problem is, Munners, I don't always press them correctly. Including last night when I should have had a big win on the basketball and I pressed the wrong button.
That is a real shame. There's also, I can see a line for next over runs here in front of me. Whack for one from Abhishek for over 9.5 in the 5th. I don't think it's Patharana who's going to bowl it. I don't think they go to him early. I don't think they need to right now. They've got 2 poles. And anybody else, for me, is due more a median number for how many runs are going to be in this next power play over. I think it's more than that for this team. Like, they're scoring at 2 runs a ball better, or 1.5 a ball better than everybody else.
2.5 runs and over better.
2.5 runs and over better.
Yep.
That was a silly thing I just said. So a normal run line for the 5th over in a power play. The 5th over is the one that goes traditionally, like even before this mad tournament. The 5th over is your money over, right? 9.5 is not the correct answer here because you've got the best first 16 batting and you've still got Abhishek there who won't calm down. That one hopped off a length a bit there.
A little bit.
Pitch still doing something.
Can I say he mistimed that and it raced along the ground to mid off
This
and
ball's
they
gonna
are
get really wet.
I was going to say this ball is soaking wet already. So if you're a little bit nervous because you hopped in at 250 or 260 on Sunrisers and they've lost early wickets, just be prepared for the fact that it might be very hard for the spinners and the quick bowlers at the end of this game. So 36 for 2 after 3.3. Deshpande's bowled 3 singles, which I like more than anything else. But Abhishek's facing
never
him.
going to happen again in the
This
rest
is
of
going to be a
the
4
career.
or a 6, and it's a 4 straight down the
That's
ground.
a very good shot. And how much wetter is that ball going to get now? All along the floor.
Moist. Moist ball, that is. Also, we were a little bit worried before Munners about my overs bet.
Yeah.
But I kept steady, and they are now on 40 off 3.2.
Exactly. Just keep the faith, trust the vibes. These boys are coming
Trust
through.
the vibes.
It's coming through, absolutely. And the chase is comfortable here for me, I reckon.
You're still comfortable with the chase, so they're at
yeah.
268 at the moment.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd have that. I'd have a slice of that.
One more wicket, how do you feel?
Yeah, still backing them. Still backing them.
You definitely have to get Klassen out to stop them scoring runs.
This could be 4 or 6. A wicket, it's a wicket!
Oh.
How do you feel now, Munners? He's got another one, Deshpande, though.
The Slayer.
I said, once he starts going for runs, he gets wickets again.
I think that lady's face on the screen sums me up at the moment. After that, I just distraught. She looked like this screen painting there for a second. I still think Dew is a huge factor, obviously. So you've got to trust the Dew, and you've got to trust that the boys are going to come through with the vibes. It must have been the ultras at the start that's intimidated them here.
Yeah. All that yellow, maybe the yellow smoke still in their eyes. It's a good hit by Abhishek, to be fair. It's just, unfortunately, he's picked the field. I think teams are a little bit better about how they set their field to him now.
Putting really tall men on the rope's a good idea for Abhishek. One thing I would say is that Abhishek was next out. That didn't take very long to cop. So
Thank you very much.
Ring your bell and press your whistles and whatever else.
So we got that one pretty much straight away. Abhishek next one. You're good at this, Rob.
Yeah, nailed that.
Not my first rodeo, as they say.
Betting on the loose cannon to be out next, you know?
At 1.83. Like if I'd have turned, if they were 1.55, I wouldn't have backed it because that's kind of what they should have been. But 1.83 silly, and you see, that is a market that traders really struggle with to get that because you have to think of lots of different angles for it. It's not just I think this guy's going to be out next, or I'll be this price. It's how much strike are they getting? It's how many balls have they faced? Like, have they got used to it? What is their role? I know what Abhishek's role is. I'm not clever. I know what his role is. It's whack it.
Yeah.
And he's done that every single game. He just tries to gun every ball that he faces for 6. He's like Fraser McGurk, but...
Who did they send in? Is that Heinrich?
It's ready, I think.
Oh, that's a very good 2.
Good 2 there. I have gone unders on 59. But I've gone unders because I already have an overs bet of 50. So if I'll double cop if they score
like
between 50
and 58.
and
I think
58.
that's a sensible play now because
If it wasn't a wicket, I would never have done that because I would have just taken my win and been fine. Yeah. But I don't feel as confident with that at the moment.
I like it. I think it's a good play because they have to kind of do some sort of rebuild. They're not chasing 260 here, and they'll find 12 and over at the end very easy with the wet ball. you have to get through Patharana, but Patharana, like as we've spoken about before on here, does bowl an awful lot of wide.
He's also,
and with the wet ball, it's much more
I was
difficult
going
to
to
hold
say, him and the wet ball is probably the worst match you can find.
Yeah.
As far as quick bowlers go, just because the way the ball comes out of his hand. So Chennai's into 134, and Sunrisers are around 3.9 at the moment. So if you still believe in the chase like Munners does, and no one is more confident than man with no money on the line.
Well,
If I jump on it now, then.
and Mulpreet isn't really a wicket. We weren't factoring him much anyway, were we?
No.
He's not a whole wicket. He's half a wicket, let's say. I'm not digging Anne Mulpreet
No,
out.
but
But none of us expected him to. That probably should have gone. Is this Chahar again?
it is Chahar again.
So with no swing, Markram should be getting boundaries this over. If they don't get 8 off this over, they've done a really bad thing here. We've still got these two. Reddy's really talented. Like he got a great 50 a couple of games ago. We all know how good Markram is, and then they've got he's kind of the forgotten man this IPL. Klassen, because the other guys have been doing so much whacking. He's still amazing. He's still getting 60s all over the place.
Smashed this Markram, but unfortunately for him, it's straight out to Daryl Mitchell, who's still on that same boundary, sweating like 7 stuck pigs. Look at him.
He's done so well to hold on to those 2 catches as well, with the amount that's coming off him at the moment.
Yeah, having enormous hands definitely
He
helps
is
there,
the
doesn't
most moist of the moist men out in the middle at the moment.
it? He's at 27 sixes in his 8 innings, Klassen, and he feels to me like he hasn't really got going yet. He
had one game
where he
didn't he?
didn't quite chase what Andre Russell did.
Yeah.
Earlier that day. That was an extraordinary effort. He's only striking at 200, which doesn't have him as the best strike rate in his team, which can't ever happen. He's got the 3rd best strike rate in this team. Klassen. Travis Head is scoring at 211 this IPL.
What's Abhishek?
216 this IPL. 216 he's striking at. And Klassen's just mucking about at strike rate 200 like some sort of old man. Poodling along at strike rate. Do you know what Jake Fraggle Rock is?
Is he 265?
238. Of course he is. I think the pitch is just got a bit of spice in it.
I think they could
these
be
pace
bowled out
bowlers.
very low here. I'm looking at my position on the Sunrisers and not feeling as confident as I should.
You know a market that you could be looking at here, Jarrod, is your old friend.
200, second innings line.
Second innings runs, yeah.
So second innings line is currently, well, there's only £1,000 in the market. It's between unders 180 and overs 194 at the moment.
So you can't play there because there's no market set. But the spreads are. What do you think the line should be here, Jarrod? Munners, what do you think? Well, you think they're going to chase it.
I was going to say about 213 at the moment.
They get another single here. I think if they're going to get bowled out, it's cheap. So 180 is probably fine if you're doing unders.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, if you can get under 180 anything, I think I would back that here.
Yeah.
But I've said that before, this IPL.
I think I've got one of them home of my 3 or 4 second innings.
I thought the most likely thing that would happen when Punjab were chasing 260 was for them to fold, because everyone had to go hard, and Arshdeep had it swinging loads early. Where's that gone?
It's gone
Past the bat.
Yeah.
Reddy doesn't look happy yet. We still need 6 runs off these 7 balls here. All of a sudden.
Yep. And certainly the pitch isn't coming on as much as we thought it might. Or coming on in the same way we thought it might, I should say. So we need 11 and over from here on in. It's a big ask. So 45 for 3 with 1 ball to go in the 5th over. Chahar has gone for 22. He hasn't taken any wickets here. And again, the ball just gets stuck a little bit in the surface, and Nitesh sort of gets over at the top of it, pushes it back down to the bowler. There's no run. So Chennai is now 1.25.
Yeah, I mean, that over of non-swinging Chahar, not scoring any runs off it, is pretty bad, isn't it? Like that's a bad effort. All of a sudden, we need 7 off the 6th. We need 7 off the team that gets loads more runs than everybody else in the first 6 to win our bet. And,
well, we said wickets was the thing that would stop them.
But only 3 though. I thought 7 wickets
Yeah,
would stop
true.
them from getting 51.
So last over of the power play, though, you get a cheeky little edge, and you get 1 bad ball. Who's going to bowl it? Deshpande?
Could be
Or
anyone.
Mustafiza?
Could be Fizz, yeah.
I would probably use Mustafiza here, I reckon.
But you're looking quite good for your middle. The run line here is 54.5. You can go unders here. How many have we got now? 40. No, we haven't. How many have we got here? 45.
So
the run line's 9.5.
And we need 6 runs for our first 6 overs bet.
6, don't we? Yeah, they only got. Are you sure they got 50?
You said that.
Simon said that.
Simon is the sort of man that wouldn't say something unless he's right, except for those times when he says stuff and he's wrong.
In this case, it's 50.
50 it is.
And it is Fizz. Let's have a wide first up, Fizz. Just calm everybody down a bit.
Mustafiza. And
That'll
it's gone for
do.
4. Slashed away by Markram. Again, Markram is really going for these.
I'm surprised that Markram is the one that we've had to rely on to get this first 6 bet over the line.
Not what I was...
When he's 18 off 10, and he could easily be 10 off 10, and we're under it.
Well, from the moment he came out, I went on unders. So that tells you how I'm feeling.
But it's only in the context of this side, like you say, he's striking at 200s for the tournament anyway. So
no, not Markram.
No, was it not Markram?
No, Klaassen is.
Klaassen. Oh, right. Okay.
Markram would be at 170, I reckon. 160.
Talk amongst yourselves.
We will. Markram is facing up again. They've hit 5 4s and 2 6s here. And as the Fizz is coming in again, and this is hit quite well, but straight to sort of the extra cover. And
2 or 5 would be a really bad beat to lose this, but we're needing 2 or 5 in the power play.
I feel like I deserve it for all my luck at various times.
Yeah.
Okay, Markram strike rate 134.
Is it that low?
Yeah.
How do you do that in this team?
I mean, Pat Cummins is 161. A Nadcat's 127.
Player.
I love a Nadcat.
Good bowler.
I still love
at
him.
the death.
Even
very handy at
after
the death.
draining a few quid off me earlier, I still love him.
Markram facing up to Mustafiza. It's wide, it's full. It
leave
probably
the wide.
leaves that, and it's
Leave
a
the
wide.
That's a skill that needs to be developed more. Is the ability to leave a definite wide.
But do we get our money back at this point?
It depends.
No, because it might be a tie.
It depends where you backed it.
Yes.
So some firms offer 2-way, and some firms offer 3-way, and you always want to bet it 2-way because you don't want to get beat by the tie. The bookies keep everything if it's a tie. No one's going to back the tie at 20s or 25s or whatever. It's really hard to land on the tie just because of numbers, just because of like how numbers work. I'm not going to go into that now because it would be really, really boring, even more boring than some of the other stuff I say.
The target is 213. And this is cooked away nicely. I'll get a couple here, and we've got our bet.
There it is.
I think we were made to work more for that bet than we should have been, Munners.
It was painful, wasn't it? That crawling over the line. But like I say, they were just intimidated by the ultras and the overwhelming environment, really.
They should nut it around easily from here on in.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, they've got past the ultras. They've got past the overline on that amount there. So now what I want is we're on 52. We've got 2 balls to gum. So I want a dot ball.
Yep.
Because I'm under 0 to 58.
Oh, lovely stuff. Look at him now getting middles all of a sudden. He's arbing, he's getting middles, he's getting double greens. He's only been betting for 5 minutes.
And so Mustafiz is going to come in here and bowl a dot ball. No. It's only going to be 1. They're going to steal a run.
So you need less than 6 off this ball for your double super mega middle.
Yes, and who's facing Markram? So he won't hit a 6, so I should be fine. He might hit a 4.
What you need to do now is basically spend your money now. For the last
That's
ball.
how gambling works, isn't it?
Yeah. You always spend it, yeah. So if Amy's watching, we haven't had any winning bets all weekend.
Wet Amy. Should you be moist Amy now?
Okay, let's move on, Jarrod.
I'm probably happy that's gone over my head.
I'll tell you off air. 53 for 3 with 1 ball to go into the power play here. And I did say...
Jarrod.
Cheeky little dot ball. But again, that ball got stuck in the wicket. I don't want to get too excited about my bets. I am going to, because I did.
Yeah, lovely stuff.
So we talked about the under 58 once Markram came in, and that one stuck. And we also gave you the head-to-head power play. So if you've been watching Cricket 8, again, you've done well. We've certainly given you some losers, and I still have my money on Sunrisers, which, to be honest, if we're looking at this at the moment, I'm not looking particularly good. They're at 5s.
But they've got the best spin hitter I've ever seen to come, and he might be the best white ball bat ever. If he sustains this for another year, he's in the conversation.
I don't mind Markram in this chase either.
No.
Because if Markram faces 50 balls, he's going to make a big chunk of the half.
To get 95, yeah. And the other thing is Markram is used to batting with Klaassen. to get big numbers.
Yeah.
They did it in the World Cup, the 50 over World Cup.
And he will play for Klaassen as well.
They
He will play off
knows
him.
how
Yeah.
to do that, right? Like Markram's a smart cricketer, isn't he? He's got a lot of
Starting to
what
feel
do
this
young people-
chase again.
what do young
When do you
people
want
say?
Markram in?
Well, now.
Sorry, when do you want
mean?
Klaassen in, I mean?
I probably want Klaassen to come in. I want this partnership to not let the rate get above 12, which is very doable here. You just got to keep ticking over at 9 and over for now. Jadeja's a man that bowls an incredible amount of singles, more than anyone.
Yeah.
I don't think 6 singles is the answer. They've got to get the odd boundary, but you probably want Klaassen coming in about over 10, I would say, in this kind of chase. A lot of teams use him as the first wicket after the power play is when he comes in, whenever that is. But yeah, where would you, if you could pick when he walks to the crease, Jarrod, what would you pick?
I think you want him in now around the 9th to 10th over, because you don't want to lose another wicket here.
Yeah.
You put him under too much pressure, and the last thing you want with Klaassen is for him to have to knock the ball around for a little while.
Yeah.
I really want him to come around the 10th over, give himself 7 or 8 balls, and then just hit a 6 every ball.
Yeah, I think that's
That's
fair.
a beautiful shot. Some good fielding out on the boundary too, but they'll come back for a couple there. So they've scored 4 off the first couple of balls of Jadeja here. They wouldn't. The one thing you want for Jadeja, I know it's a wet ball, but you wouldn't mind a left-hander.
Yeah.
He might be able to slide through his overs for about 32 to 34, which probably is an advantage for Chennai, I reckon, Munners.
Right. That's a worry.
Are you interested in 10 for the 2 here, Jarrod? There's quite big gaps in this out. This is one of the bigger grounds, IPL-wise.
I worry about Markram hitting the ball too high, but Nitesh seems to be a 2 machine early in his career.
I mean,
He's too heavy.
We've had a 2 in. We've had 3 in the last 4 overs here, so 10 looks all right to me. But you don't want to only get 6 off Jadeja. They're struggling to grip the ball.
I was
here,
about
aren't
to say that last ball, that was a half tracker, and that should have been hit for 4. And he looked very worried after that ball. So we could get some full tosses. If he bowls full tosses to Markram should be able to just hit them, punch them for 6.
He's really dragged that down desperately, trying to pitch that as well, hasn't he?
So I do think that is not a good sign for Chennai, but they got away with another over there, so they'll be more than happy with that. Sunrisers are on 470, Chennai's are around 1.25, so it hasn't changed the market all that much there. And that we're due for a timeout, so
I think it probably. I'm very bad at predicting timeouts. It's something I've not got into my head yet.
yeah. So the current run rate is 8.42. They've kept it at 12 runs and over at the moment, which isn't going to be a problem with Abdul Samad, Heinrich Klaassen, Pat Cummins, Shabazz, all those guys to come later on. So I've got no issue here. They're 154 off 78. They really need it to be 60 off 20 at worst.
Yeah, and if you've got set Klaassen, that's nothing these days.
So that's 90 off the next 60 balls.
It's how Patharana goes with the wet ball is the game within the game.
Yeah.
That's how this game is won and
If
lost.
he comes in and bowls 5 wides,
which he absolutely can. You know that he's somebody that bowls the 5 wides more than others. And now we've got Thakur, and they will be thinking, we can't score 6 off this bloke. They scored 6 off Jadeja. Lots of people do. They have to score off this guy. You can't get less than 10 off this over. So I would be looking towards boundary prices at the end of this over if they don't get any at the start, which they have already, obviously.
short ball down the leg side. He's been lucky here, Markram, but to be fair, he was always trying to tuck it around the corner. He just tucked it a little bit tighter than he meant there. They've got an issue too with the 2 right-handers at the crease. They can't use right-hand, left-hand spin options. So Moeen Ali can't bowl. So Shardul, does that mean he has to bowl all 4?
If he has to bowl all 4, they're going to chase it. Does it mean he has to bowl? No, it doesn't, because you've got Patharana's 4. So Chahar's bowled 3 now. So theoretically, he only has to bowl 1. You just got to bowl Deshpande out, which is a good thing today. Jadeja, Fizz, and then you do all 4 for Patharana. So no, he doesn't have to bowl again after this.
Oh my
That
God.
is a shocker.
I tell you what, Markram's made an error here because it was a head-high full toss. He can only bowl one more of that. That tells you how bad the ball is, by the way, everyone.
Yeah, this chase has got legs here, and you can back it at 3-1, and I'm not going to put anybody off that. I think that looks like a decent price.
Munners is in.
Finally, we've worn him down. We've got him betting.
You know, Markram can get himself a little bit stuck. Getting a free hit off a medium pacer is probably something that's going to happen. That was the knuckleball.
A bad idea bowling knuckleball with bar
A
of
wet
soap.
ball?
Yeah, that's really silly, isn't it? That's why we love Shardul, because he just does mad stuff.
64 for 3 here. Shardul's gone for 5 runs off 1 ball with a free hit to come.
That's what he does.
This has to be a 4 or 6 if you're Aiden Markram. Surely. And it's not. He's hit it straight up in the air.
Should run 2. That's gone into the sky. That's a sacrifice fly, isn't it?
I don't think he will get 2 though. I reckon he's done himself a disservice there, Markram. He should have just run really, really hard and put some pressure on Daryl Mitchell because it went so high. But they've got away with that Shardul. There is an issue here if he bowls another head-high full toss. He can't continue to bowl. But that's only an issue if Jadeja starts to struggle with the wet ball as well, or one of the other bowlers, right?
Yeah.
So they've got that little bit of a cushion. But what will Nitesh do facing Shardul? They're going to want to attack him. He's gone for 6 runs off his first 2 balls. This one hits it on the head out to point, and they take 1. Even 10 runs off this over, though, keeps them in a good position.
Yeah, you can't not get 10 off the Shardul over, because I think that's probably it for Chahar now. And then if they can take someone down, because Fizz lost his head at the end of the last game and got spanked to lose the defence in that game. Jadeja hasn't been as good as he normally is in this IPL because people have gone after him more. I seem to be talking myself into back in the chase at 4.5 again.
Yes.
This is one
flashed away, but straight to the fielder. Rahane
if this one gets chased, I feel like I've said this a few times. If this one gets chased, the bookies are in tatters. They're in ribbons because it ain't one that they've just hosed up and they can run for the hills early. It's one where the market is saying that Chennai are defending this all day long, and the punters will definitely still be believing. Every time it cuts, the thing that keeps me believing here is I do think there's something in the pitch. I think Chahar got a bit out of the pitch, but the ball's so wet now, and it only takes one guy to lose their head or not be able to grip it, and all of a sudden it gets silly.
And Mike had another cheeky 2 here. I told you, Nitesh is a 2 machine.
Clinical 2s, look at that.
You can win this game in 2s. You can win this game in 2s. You can't win it in 1s.
Just really sensing that you guys are on board with the chase here now.
I'm
just quietly sat here and let you talk yourselves into it, you know. And you're there now. You're on the vibe train to this.
Some of the bookies, I'm just looking at some of the bookies. They are on very different kinds of odds at the moment.
Yeah, I think we all know why. I mean, wowzers trousers, aren't they?
So they are trying to catch up again, aren't they?
Yeah, they just don't want chases. Long term, that means you lose absolutely bundles of money. But in an IPL like this, if it does go 30 over par every time and everyone chases everything, they would have saved themselves millions of pounds by doing this. It's a really bad idea long term, in my opinion. But I'm not running these bookies. They can do what they want. It's up to them. Like, it's their prerogative to put whatever prices out they like. Just don't close people's accounts if they back them.
Yep. So Chennai is at 127, but if you do have bookies accounts, have a look around to see if there's anything slightly better out there.
If you're a fan of the defence here, you're going to be looked after by the high street. Like, you really are. Goodness gracious me! I've just had a look around some of these bookies. Blimey, but it's not for me to comment about. So I think what happens here with the market, that if Reddy gets one away, then it starts to believe again, because Reddy hasn't done much yet. He's just sort of nudged it about, and the market is basically saying we don't think Reddy has got the minerals for this.
Yep.
The strike rate of 116 is not catching anybody's eye, but he played magnificently well not that long ago, Reddy. Let me get that ends up on my screen. He got a 37 and a twofer the other day, but he got 64 off 37 against Punjab, and he was brilliant. He was hitting them all everywhere. He got 5 sixes. Like, he can flick the switch with the best of them ready. So let's see. but they almost seem to be saying we have to nudge Jadeja about, and we're still going to do it.
It'd be interesting to know what the conversations are between these two at the moment, because Markram is the natural anchor, but he's 27 off 20. Nitesh wants to whack it, but he's 15 off 14. I think Markram is going to go. Let's see what he does. Yeah, there we go. He's backed away and tries to smash Jadeja over cover there. So I think they're flip rolls here. And I think that's a form-based thing rather than anything else.
Yeah.
71 for 3 after 8.3. And he's just knocked this one down to long off. So required rate, still around 2 runs per ball, so it's not getting nasty. They do have Heinrich Klaassen to come, so they will think even getting to 14 and 15 runs and over early on won't be as damaging as it might be to other teams.
Not when you got Klaassen.
Well, I know you were saying earlier about Mark Cosgrove blowing your mind.
Oh my God, he's bowled a bouncer and he could get a wicket here. Oh, Nitesh has hit this straight up in the air. That is mad cricket. That is a perfect ball to just top over the wicketkeeper's head for 4, because it was a horrendous ball from Jadeja. And instead, he tried to muscle it away and hit it straight up in the air. And that will change things quite drastically for this game. But in Klaassen we trust for some of us. But,
absolutely, yeah.
That was an absolute bizarre moment of cricket from Nitesh Reddy, because I think even a club cricketer there is thinking, he's bowled the bouncer. Was that intentional?
Yeah, I think he's dragged that down deliberately.
That's what I thought, yeah. I called it that way, but just watching it on the replay, I wasn't as sure. I haven't seen, it's not often a bouncer works for a spinner, and there's a reason why it shouldn't, because all you have to do is have your bat face open like this, and you ramp the ball over the keeper's head, and you pick up the boundary, because there's no way they can stop that.
It's a tough one for Reddy to go back to the dugout with as well, isn't it? Just got bumped out by a spinner. And like, it got big on him.
Yeah.
It genuinely got big on him. But yeah, you're right. It could have sat back and hit that absolutely anywhere.
Wow. How do you feel now, Rob Barron?
Quite hot, actually. The lights have been on. It's only moved into 1.16 for that wicket, and they're like, it's only ready. It's basically what the mic said. Look, you've got to get Klaassen out to stop them chasing these.
Yeah.
But he probably has to score 85 here for them to knock them off. And 6-1 for Klaassen to score 85 and other people to do stuff, it's probably about the right number. The poor bookies have got to have one game where they get a bit back, haven't they? For the punters can't just have overs and chase every time. They've already got their overs money and they've all piled it on the chase, I would imagine.
Yeah.
But yeah, Klaassen is about as scary as they come as far as people that can do this sort of thing go, and I hope he gets them close at least. I think we're in for a fun watch if he does. Are we timing out yet?
That might be the strategic timeout. Yeah, we'll have a strategic timeout here on Cricket8, and we'll be back in a few moments with more of bouncers by spinners, I suppose. I have lost more than I've won. So I've got a 66% win percentage, but I've won far more than that, and that I've actually lost because I put the wrong bets on. But it gets better.
I mean, this is very much like my girlfriend's at a different school, isn't it?
But he's seen them though. I sent him he's aware of all that thing. But he also
I've actually been right all the time. It's just I kept pressing the wrong button.
But I'm going to tell you why it gets better, because the other day I did manage to pull it back. The other day Sudarshan came through, and I've never done a bet on Sudarshan being overs, but you know that he's the most consistent player, so you should bet Sudarshan overs every single time. He has something like 60% of his innings between 20 and 45 runs. No one else is close, right? So I went for the overs, and I was so confident, and I got it on. But I've never bet overs before on that particular market. And the app I was on, I hadn't used, so I went the wrong way. Sudarshan comes out, and he smashes 2 cover drives for 4. And I'm sitting there going, he's going to go past 20 in about a minute and a half here. And just as I tell him I've made the mistake, Sudarshan hits the ball the mid-on, runs, and gets run out for 12.
Oh, joy.
So it's the only time he's got out below 30 this season, by the way. When the Jarrod millions go down, he can just change the universe.
So I've made 8 mistakes that have cost me, and 1 mistake that I've pulled back. So I'm not happy with that.
No, you shouldn't be happy with that, because that is literally 7.
There's 10 teams in the IPL. The top 4 teams make the playoff, but the playoffs are very clever. It's confusing, especially if you're not from Australia, because we have this style in Australia. It was taken from Australian rules football and rugby league. And essentially what happens is the first team plays the second team and they get a second chance. What happens is by coming first in the league, you get a chance, and you also get a chance to go straight into the final and have a week off and rest your fast bowlers and all those sorts of good things. So 1 versus 2, and they go straight into the final. 3 versus 4 play an eliminator. So whoever loses out of them, they can go home and go to the Maldives and have a holiday with Danny Morrison.
Probably for the last time before it gets some kind of water.
And so let's say 3 beats 4 and 1 beats 2, because that makes the most sense. 1 goes into the final, and then 2 plays 3 in a secondary eliminator, and whoever wins out of that goes into the final. So if 2 beats 3, 1 versus 2 play in the final. So in finishing in the top 2, you give yourself every chance of making the playoffs, even if you don't do it on the first game. And finishing 3 versus 4, you basically have to be perfect in order. Welcome back to Cricket 8. Remember, you can email us at, I'll get this right now, email us at live@cricket8.com. I think it's the double ats that I'm getting. It's the at, as you know, for all the Star Wars fans out there. I got Munners from Dealt with Cricket here. I've got Rob Barron with us as well. As Mustafiza comes in with a dot ball, as Klaasen sort of drags this down onto his foot a little bit, and it dribbles back down the pitch to the bowler. How are you feeling? Because you went all in. You put your mortgage on Sunrisers.
Look, I'm looking at Klaasen now. Collar up, vibes are up. Feel it. I'm feeling this chase. Definitely. Nothing's gonna dampen my spirit here. Even another wicket.
If Klaasen gets out, you still think they're chasing?
Oh yeah, 100%.
You're fitting in very well, right here, Munners.
Can I ask you a question,
No!
Rob Barron?
No, you can't. Yeah, go on.
They're going to get a single here. Let's say you had a really bad bet on Sunrisers and you're massively in the red.
Uh-huh. That's hypothetically.
I'm willing to hold it, although they're at 8s now. I almost want to go back in at 8s, by the way, but
yeah,
especially with Klaasen there.
So one of my very good friends, and one of the 4 friends that I've got, I've amassed in my 40 years on the planet, he has what's called a press chase strategy.
Yeah.
So you just chase everything and you just keep pressing. So if you think, so if you're in, you like this is something you can apply to your life. If you want a bit of life advice, that I'm going to give you for free anyway, is whenever you're in hell, you keep going.
Double down.
You keep going. Like you keep going through hell, otherwise you'll never get out of it. So just have more on.
Have more hell. Yeah. The line is still 180.
Have more on. Please bet responsibly.
There is under 180 is the line.
Feels like they either they either chase it easy or they fall in a heap. I don't see how they approach this chase where they go, we're going to try and get this close, we're going to play for net run. They don't need to. SRH, they're a team full of whackers, they're really fun.
So do you like the minus 180?
I do, but I keep getting myself into trouble by thinking that the second innings run line is too high. But I do think that you should be on under 180 something. I do. Yeah. SRH are 3rd in the table, but this is the bit of the season where everything gets really interesting on the table, because Rajasthan are gone, right? They've smashed it, and RCB are just about clinging on to being in the competition after they won a cricket match earlier thanks to Will Jacks, and they're on 6, but there's 4 teams on 10 points and SRH are one of those. If they lose this and get hammered, then they suddenly go back right back into the pack if they fold here and get bowled out for 120. But right now, with these 2 at the crease, who have done some absolutely crazy things together at the crease, you don't have to go back very far, do you? 50 over World Cup when they got, 400. How many was it? It was the highest score in the World Cup, whatever it was. Those 2 just did amazing things.
They've gone for a review there, but I think that was...
They are not a team now that are thinking about, let's make sure the net run rate doesn't get hit. They're thinking we can still win this. And for that reason, I like the unders, because I think they're going to try and win. I don't think they're going to nudge about. But one thing you have to consider when you're betting now at this point of the IPL is that when they're all in a pack together, as I try and find the table that I just had open on my screen, which has disappeared, when they're all packed together, blimey, where's it gone? the net run rate definitely becomes a thing that they have to factor into their calculations. There's 4 of them on 10 points, there's 2 on 8 and 3 on 6, and it becomes a thing now. You've got to finish 4th. The difference between finishing 4th and 5th is absolutely huge, and at the moment that's being separated, like 3rd and 4th are separated by a bit of net run rate, and then 4th and 5th are...
something really interesting has just happened. They've just come in, they were 9.2, and I was going to back them, and didn't. I was going to go in deeper.
You're going to go into hell again.
They came in all the way to 8.2, so people are still... That's quite a big swing considering they got 3 runs or 4 runs off that over.
Yeah, they've wildly underperformed here, and there are just people now that are sat there, kind of like us thinking, as Patharana comes into the attack, this could be game breaker time.
One way or the other.
Let's see if he can grip it.
We are about to see if Patharana can grip it. First ball's fine.
Yeah,
they're going to steal a little single here, cheeky.
Good run. This is where you always look for bold when Patharana is bowling as a method of dismissal, because he's got that searing Yorker. 4.8 doesn't excite me that much.
On a bold, what would you need on a bold? 7?
I want bigger than 5.
Is Jadeja get a lot of bolds too?
Jadeja aims at the stump, so he gets a lot less courts than a lot of people. Yeah, it used to get quite a few LBs, but LBW has gone from the game.
They've just come in. I mean, it's just all over the place. There must be money coming in for something at the moment, because things are changing quite a bit. Single down the ground. I think
the pitch is being a bit naughty here, as in it's not a total road like all the other ones have had. There seems to be something in it. The ball being wet often negates the fact that there's something in the pitch, but it doesn't appear to have done today. Like nobody's really got going. Like Head and Abhishek got 1 away each, but not really.
So there's 58 balls left. So if they want to get to 60 off 20, which is a mathematics that these two can do. As Patharana comes in again, that's a bad ball. Okay.
There's his
Grip's gone.
Now, I'm interested in the 8.4s.
That ball is very wet.
That is very, very interesting. In fact, they've come into 8s after that wide, which tells you the whole market has seen what we have seen and thought, yep, okay, let's see how that goes.
Because it's not one of those wides where he's trying to bowl the wide Yorker and is missed by an inch, because they're fine. They don't mean anything. But when he's bowling wides because the radar's off or the ball's slippy, that is definitely more than a normal wide.
And he's almost got another wide there. They're going to probably come back for a couple. And if the ball was already wet, that next ball has just rolled all the way along the ground as well. They've come into 7.6.
Do you know what a huge thing to look out for here is the ball change. If they manage to get the ball, like Swan was always livid when the ball got wet, wasn't he? He was like a spoilt child. In the umpire's ear, every 5 seconds, I can't bowl with this. Change it. And there's a guy playing for Chennai, a little known domestic player called MS Dhoni, and he has the umpire's ear sometimes.
Yeah.
And if he says, I want this ball changed, I think him saying that has slightly more sway than if Samad says it, or you know what I mean. So if there's a ball change here, that's usually in this circumstance in favour of the bowlers, because they'll get a dry ball to bowl with for a bit. So yeah, I'm always looking out for that, and that's one thing that if you can get to quicker than the market, you can make yourself some money there. When MS Dhoni, so that we've been talking about a whale Munners who I've not seen today, who bets into the Betfair market £1 million at a time and sometimes more, and
7 million in one game, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's fun. I mean that's like. I mean, Jarrod wouldn't get a bed for that, but the rest of us, that's a lot of cash.
Oh, this is bad. That's very lucky.
Where was this when I was buying wide?
That's taken 80 points off their price, that wide.
Right, we're into 7.2. Yeah, the market's panicking a bit here. So this whale came in, and in the Dhoni game against Mumbers, when he got 20 or 5 at the end, the guy was like, I want to back as much as I can on over. There's 5 balls left in the innings. I want as much as I can get on overs. And we were like, why is he doing that? And Jarrod went, well, look, they've just bought out a suitcase full of balls for Dhoni to hit. And that was his angle, I think. And that was a magnificent bet.
Oh, and that could be game over. Wow.
You know how he got out there, Jarrod?
Did he get bowled?
He did.
Bowled.
But did you told them not to bet?
I said if you can get 5 or bigger, I don't know. I
Good
don't
luck
know
to
where
anyone who
you go.
got 5 or bigger there. That was incredible. It was all over the shop. No one was quite sure which way to bet. The odds were going everywhere, but that has probably ended this game.
You got to get Klassen out to win this game. I'm hoping personally that Patharana can keep picking up poles. He's got a lot of catching up to do to catch.
How many
the
do you
madman.
need?
As many as possible would be nice because I'm on him top IPL.
Oh, you are, yes,
wicket
that's right.
taker.
Yep.
His strike rate is about as good as anybody now. Like, unfortunately, he missed a few games. But we fans of the podcast that Jarrod and myself do after the game, and you'll join us today, Munners. We talk about the long-term stuff, and about a week ago he was 14-1 to be top wicket taker. I'm just going to update people on that one now. But he's got to catch the madman today. He's got to catch Deshpande, and Deshpande's still got overs to bowl. But Bumrah, everyone's packed together for top bowler. Anyone can win it, and Khalil's been doing well. Kuldeep could have stolen a march this weekend, and so could Chahal, and neither of them did anything. And Patharana's 3 off the top now. I'd love him to get another couple today, but they're probably going to be all out now. And so somebody's going to get 3 or 4 wickets here. Hopefully for me, it's Patharana.
The run lines come into about 173 for this innings.
Unders. That's a good bet. That's a better bet than the 180 because Markram's gone now and they're into the hitters. Samad's not building an innings here, is he? Samad's not going to be 15 off 14 looking to tee off later. I think he's going to just try and go. He's a good hitter, Samad. He's a good 6 hitter, but this is not the situation for him, I don't think. I don't think Samad can be 12 off 12 and then go. I think they'll be too far behind the rate if he does that. It's a great ball, by the way. He's just bowled 2 horrible wides because he can't grip it, and then when he got it right, that's perfect. That's Malinga.
It's kind of the worst thing if you're facing him because you are not expecting that ball after what he has been bowling.
No. And that element of mystery is like, where on earth is this next ball going to go? That's almost unplayable, that one. It's swinging, searing, bottom of middle stump Yorker, all the best. That gets loads of people out. That's Seth Markram he's got out there. That's not a clown he's just got out.
Test player.
He's one of the best bowlers in this competition, Patharana.
85 for 5. Be interesting to see how they go against him from here on in. It might be, if you do have money on Sunrisers, the best chance you have probably is that he bowls 2 head-high full tosses.
Yeah.
And that they both get hit for 6.
Yeah. And there's a chance.
Yeah?
There's a real chance.
Now, something is going on here. It's just a bit of a
ridiculous
delay.
poll is going up on the official page.
Does he have the best wicket celebration?
Slightly loaded question. Does Patharana have the best wicket celebration
Yes or no?
in the IPL?
Does he?
Closed question.
Yes. No, he doesn't.
Who's
But
got
where's Dave Mohammed when you need him?
Yeah, that's true.
He had there's
Jabari Shamsi?
Yeah.
Shamsi just copies Dave Mohammed.
He's done a few different
I like
things.
the
Imran
one where he
Tahir?
pulled out the let's talk about celebrations for a minute. So Dave Mohammed is the OG. Dave Mohammed is the OG of celebrations. He did the alligator roll, which was magnificent. He pioneered the shoe phone, where he takes his shoe off and does all that one. He's an absolute legend, Dave Mohammed, and I used to love watching whatever the CPL was called back in the day when he was mucking about. He's a great watch, Dave Mohammed, so mad props to him. Then we had Shamsi copying loads of them.
Yep.
But he also brought out the magician's wand with the thing in it, which I really like. I've got loads of time for that, so well done to you, Shamsi. Don't appeal like a petulant child when it isn't out, though. That's what Shamsi does. But speaking of OGs, Imran Tahir, who has played for 914 cricket teams, his Cricinfo page is like, you can't read anything about him for half an hour because you have to scroll past all the teams he's played for.
They're not all in that list.
I know, it's so funny. He'll play for us when we get an ECN team. Anyway, he will set. What I love about him is he celebrates every wicket as if it's his first, and he's 79 years old. And he will run round the entire outfield if they need 4 to win, with 9 wickets in hand off 50 balls. If he gets a random lucky hole, he's off. He doesn't care. It's like, I've got another wicket. Look how amazing this is, everyone. I want to see a lot more of that from people. I don't want handshakes and, oh yeah, I got another one, whatever. I want that level of madness every time you get a wicket. If you two take a wicket, how do you celebrate, please?
How do I celebrate? I keep, so I've never taken a wicket, really. I mean, not unless it's like a Sunday friendly game, but then it's just a bit embarrassing if I'm giving the full Imran Tahir running around the ground, doing laps of the sight screens. I did know he rocked up for Wedgwood CC this year, and
just add that to the
which was something his agent sorted out for him, and I think it was like the South Sheffield Premier League, and rocked up for the first game, found out there was no sight screens, and just left.
Oh, it wasn't of his level.
Yeah, just didn't play.
Well, I would have thought if you're a leg spinner, that's your best chance.
Yeah.
Can somebody put me on camera for a second, please? I'm never going to ask that again in my life. This is the teams that Imran Tahir has played for. This is his.
You're on
page.
camera 3, yeah.
Hi, camera 3. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you, everyone. Just a couple. Still going. That's the teams that Cricket8 know he's played for, and they haven't got Wedgwood CC on there, although he wouldn't play because there's no sight screens. But
I reckon there was one time when he was supposed to be playing for Hampshire in county cricket, and Hampshire hit him, and they said that he'd gone home, and then he turned up for a game. Like, he's done some really interesting things in his career.
He played for Hampshire and Hampshire second 11. He's played for Middlesex and Middlesex second 11.
Well, he bounced around for ages in English cricket. Oh, now what are they doing with this ball?
New ball, I think. This is MS making sure they win the game. Yeah, the MS box of balls again.
Mind you, if I'm Paparana, I'm saying, guys, could you not have done this when I was bowling wides a minute ago?
Yeah, I think that's quite terminal for the chase, to be honest, the new ball here, because it doesn't matter which one MS has chosen out of this box. They're all dry.
Can I go one alternative reality there?
Hit me. Suddenly he starts hooping round corners.
If that ball went soft in the first innings, right, and that ball's now no longer going to go soft at the end of this game, and you've got Heinrich Klaassen out there.
Funny things have happened, haven't they?
Yeah. Are you having more on the chase? Is that what you're saying?
I'm probably done backing the chase. I'm going to have such a big win. I don't need to worry about it when they win.
Can I name some Pakistan teams? I'm not going to name them all because I've got a train to catch later on, but. Imran Tahir has played for.
Did he play for the Stallions?
Let's not talk about his domestic teams just yet, because he's played for lots of different teams in Pakistan. But he's played for the north of Pakistan, Pakistan A, Pakistan International Airlines, Pakistan Under-19s, a Pakistan 11, and South Africa. One absolute lad, just plays for everyone. Let's see what the dry ball does. I tell you something now. It's not going to be very long until Klaassen hits a 6. He always hits a 6. You can get 7.2 now on a 6. I think he's going to get a 6 in his next 7 balls.
How about this one? Well, apologies to everyone. We didn't quite give you enough time there. But yeah, he's got the 6. And now, unfortunately, all the bookies are going to change their odds. But that's why he is Rob Barron, because he couldn't be anyone else.
Rob, that was incredible.
That's the problem with Klaassen, which I really like, is if you over pitch, he just stands in the crease and hits you. But if you bowl short of a length, he can just do flat bat you as well. There isn't really a length that you can bowl to him. He might look for 2 here as well. Little cheeky on the leg side. No, they've just got the 1 there. So 93 for 5. They're still within touch for Klaassen. They are not within touch for a normal player, right?
Yeah, and he's not a normal player. We've spoken about this a few times on here, but he's cracked the code of T20 batting. And again, the graphs, I don't have one on me right now, but the graphs it's like everyone's here and there's Klaassen.
Yeah.
He's averages loads more and at a higher strike rate, and he doesn't get out. That last bit is impossible, because Abhishek can do what Abhishek does, but he gets out all the time. He hasn't gone past like 30 in this comp, really. Because he's trying to hit every ball for 6, whereas Klaassen can go.
Oh, and Jadeja has kicked this for. Oh, it should have been a single.
Why don't you take the run then?
I think Klaassen thought it was at his feet for a moment, and he took. And by the time he worked out what was happening, it was a bit too late.
It's also Jadeja, isn't it?
It might have been that.
Every chance he picks that up and dead-eye dicks it, doesn't he?
So Klaassen keeping those of us who haven't cashed out interested for a little bit longer.
There's many worse 12-1 shots than this chase.
Yeah,
because you've got the best of all time there.
I'll write it.
I'd rather have Klaassen than Butler at this point. Excuse me, I really would.
Pollard.
Depends on the Pollard. Like
Gale.
I love Pollard. No one loves Gale more than me, I don't think, in the whole world. Have you met that guy?
Yeah.
That's disappointed me. Yeah, I know you've met everyone, Jarrod, but Chris Gale, he's the one I really want to meet. I'd love to have.
He talks about you a lot.
With him. I can well imagine. Great, but Chris Gale, so much better at cricket than people give him credit for.
He's an incredible test player.
Yeah.
Like all formats.
He's got
absolutely
double 100 in
mental.
all formats, isn't he?
He's really, really good at bowling as well.
Two
His
more
cricket
triple
brain
test
is
hundreds than Sachin.
His cricket brain is insane. He cracked every format.
Yep.
He's everything, Chris Gale. And he's a total lad as well.
Shardul is on.
Runs are going to happen.
And this is whacked through the covers, and it's 4. And more importantly, they've hit a couple of balls along the boundary, along the ground, I should say.
Yeah, that gets that new dry ball.
They're into 9s now. So the odds have changed quite a bit.
So if you back the 12 to 1 as some sort of massive truck tries to delete.
I apologise.
There's a plane taking off outside.
We're on top of, what's the market called here? Petticoat Lane. And so there's probably the clean-up of Petticoat Lane.
Yes, it is. We're in a very famous bit of London. You can see the Gherkin out the window, and you can see Fraggle McGurkin on the telly.
And so Samad facing up to Shardul again, and he whacks this, and it's caught or...
Oh, Moen's not sure.
It's just fallen short of Mo, I think.
Moeen, the most honest man in cricket.
Yeah, it could be the most casual celebration of all time if he has scored it.
Oh, maybe he has scored it.
I think we're checking this.
I think they're going to check it, but Moeen certainly didn't. He wasn't particularly excited about that. How much does that change your view on the chase? Oh, no, well, definitely. They're not checking that then.
Unbelievable from Moeen claiming that.
He didn't claim it, did he?
He was looking. Moeen was looking 180 degrees in another direction and still said it wasn't out. Oh, no, we're not. I don't think we really looked at it. Unless that was it. They had one look and they went, let's move on. This is, I think, about 2, but I think Klaasen's just in the mode now of, I need to face some balls and I need to face not Patharana. I need to hit as many 6s as I can from people who are not named Patharana from here on in.
He might bowl 3 of the last 5 Patharana, which is why I've definitely not given up on my top bowler bet for him today. Because if he bowls 3 of the last 5 and they need 17 and over, he could get 3 wickets and an over, no dangers.
100 for 5. So they need 113 here off the last 8 overs, which realistically they can easily do with Heinrich Klaasen. I know it sounds ridiculous when you say these things out loud. Klaasen has played a beautiful shot here. He's just starting to time the ball a lot better. Unfortunately for him, he's found deep backward point. I reckon if I was Gaikwad or MS Dhoni, whoever's actually captaining, I think I would be tempted next over to bring Patharana back.
Would you?
Yeah, and just go, could you just get rid of Klaasen here? So I feel we all feel a little bit more comfortable. Not that Shabazz and Abdul Samad can't do some damage, but if you get rid of Klaasen, you feel like you've got something. Whereas if the next over is Jadeja and he hits 3 6s off it, or if it's who else could they bowl? Mustafiza or this is dropped by Dhoni. Wow. Samad just coming forward, trying to drive this one down the ground, an edge. Are we positive he got his hands under it?
Yeah, I don't know if that's just bounced just before it, and the way he's shaking his hand looks like it's just clipped him on the end of the finger rather than actually being anywhere in the glove. But
well, as our resident wicket-keeping expert, he should have caught that,
He probably...
you would have caught that, right?
Well, yes, because Dhoni's a little bit static in recent years. If there's a little less lateral than he used to have, and he usually makes up with it with fantastic hands.
One thing I will say is it was excellent club cricket work there to instantly say, got it on the end of my finger. I was lucky to get my hand there, and now I've hurt myself. Johnny Bairstow, every fumble, watch what he does when he fumbles the ball straight away. He's, shoulder, knee,
something.
My sciatica.
Yeah.
I've got a hemorrhoid. Rob?
There we are. Can we talk about Shabazz? I know you want to. His last 2 innings, I don't understand. So he got a great 59 off 29 2 games ago, not out, when they scored 266, right? It was really good. It was full of hitting. He looked in lovely form. And then he came in the other day when they were only chasing 206, and he faced 37 balls on a good pitch, and he ended the chase 40 not out.
I think they had told him to bat that way.
You think that was a net run rate
Yeah.
chase?
Yeah.
You don't think that he was trying to win?
No.
Because Cummins came in and got 31 off 15. And if he'd have scored at... Is that a drop as well?
Yeah.
I think it might have been a drop, but we'll have to have a look. The bowler doesn't look too worried. So this is Jadeja's last over. So he's got 1 for 18. So this has been a huge win for him. As Samad is facing him again. He slashes this to backward point.
Oh, Moeen.
Moeen has... To be fair, if you're going to rebound it anywhere, rebound it to the other fielder on the boundary, so you only put in 1. If he'd done that the other direction, Munners, that would have been 4, because it flew off him, didn't
It's
it?
a smart misfield from Moeen there.
The way he just angled his hands
Yeah.
towards the fielder.
Sort of thing that only a mercurial Moeen Ali can do, isn't it, really?
He used his knee as well, I think.
Yeah, you want to use your full body for that.
Uh-oh.
Heinrich Klaassen is backed away.
Someone needs to take the gloves off Tony here. His finger's broke, I think.
I think
Yeah,
they've
I-
covered his
Is that
gloves
3
in-
he's fumbled now in a row?
Someone's covered his gloves in grease or butter or something here. He doesn't look very happy at the moment, MS.
Have they got a backup keeper?
Gaikwad, I think.
I think he can, can't he?
Yeah, I've seen
I'm not...
Gaikwad keep before, yeah. This is almost terminal. Samad is a very high wicket percentage this ball right now.
You think?
Yeah, because he has to try and hit it for 6. But you
So
can't let
you
this
can't
over go
bet
for
wicket
3.
in this over though, can you?
You can't. You can bet like fall of wicket under, stuff like that. You can just hammer into the defence or if that sort of thing. If you really think there's going to be wicket, I just think the percentage of this. They need 17 and over now. They've done nothing off this over. If this doesn't score runs, they're really under it. It goes up to 18 all of a sudden. He's going to have a big swing at this, isn't he? Surely.
So we're saying 6 are out here.
I think he's going to get caught on
and he slashes it for 1.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
What about Heinrich Klaassen?
This one not so much because Samad knows.
This is 6 or 6?
Samad knows that Klaassen is the man here. Klaassen knows Klaassen is the man here, and Klaassen might think that I can still do it if I get a 1 this ball. He knows he can't get out this ball, whereas Samad didn't know that last ball, if you know what I mean. Because Samad can just swap with Shabazz and go over to you, mate, you do it.
He's taking a 1. It's a
And
risky
deliver
one,
on.
if we're being honest. So that over makes it a lot tougher. They're out to 21s at the moment. Should we go back in?
Go on now.
What I would say is they probably have to get Klaassen out to stop them chasing. And I know it's 17 and a half and over, and that is absolutely loads. And Patharana's bowling 3, and he's bowled one of the balls of the IPL there to bowl a set marker, and that was top draw, that ball. But
Your biggest problem for Klaassen is that he hits a lot of 6s. It's not easy to hit Patharana for 6s.
yeah, I think he's about 3.5%. I'll get you the number in a minute of balls that get hit for 6. Again, talk amongst yourselves for a moment. I'll find it for you.
So there's not really... This game is fizzled out. You might have got the worst game of Cricket 8's career here.
Yeah, well, I've just been told that if Klaassen's in the 20th, they're chasing this. So.
They are, yeah.
Yeah.
So 2.5% of Patharana's balls get hit for 6. 2.5%. That is the lowest amongst all players.
That's even Bumrah.
Yeah, even Bumrah, because he got Fraggle Rock the other day, didn't he? I'll tell you who doesn't get hit for 6s. It's not a big enough sample size to draw huge conclusions. Actually, it's 157 balls.
Mm-hmm.
You
He's
are
back
not-
on, by the way, Patharana.
In 157 balls in the last 2 years, this very famous Indian bowler has been hit for a 6 in 1.3% of his balls, which makes him the best.
That's a wide.
So that's not Patharana either.
Wasn't it?
I don't think so. That looked like somebody that... Yeah,
Oh, it's Shardul.
yeah.
Oh, but they showed Patharana, so obviously the TV wanted him to bowl, but that should be called a wide as well. Why is Heinrich Klaassen not?
Patharana's going to bowl 16, 18, 20, and he's going to get 4 more wickets here. Guess who the man is?
Oh,
He's bowled absolutely loads of balls in the last couple of years, and only 1.5% 6s. You couldn't possibly... He's a very famous Indian bowler. He once had Ricky Ponting on toast in a test.
Ishant Sharma.
Yeah.
Doesn't get. Oh, well, that's because he gets hit for so many 4s.
He gets hit every ball for 4, but he never gets hit for 6s. And that
Klaassen.
is something, when you do ball-by-ball betting, if you are able to back stuff with decimals companies, that sometimes they have the gap. Now they've got 6 shorter than 4 for ball prices, because Klaassen's there. That's quite right too, because he hits way more 6s and 4s. And Samad's not far off either, actually. But when you know that Patharana's bowling, he did get hit for a 6 or 2 the other day, but it's such a low 6 percentage that you can't be on 6. You've got to be on the 4 if you think the boundaries are coming. Do you know what I mean?
So Samad's 11 off 11. Klaassen's 18 off 18. It's an awkward thing. The run line at the moment no one knows what to do on the 20 over run line.
Yeah.
It's around 175 if we're being honest.
The question we now have to ask ourselves, as this goes to 50-1 now, this chase, is are they net run rating here? Do they still think they can win this? Because if he doesn't have a big swing here...
He has had the biggest swing.
Game on.
Fair enough, they're trying.
I don't think you can go for net run rate with the 2 guys they've got left to bat.
Is the ball dead?
Yeah, I mean, it might be, but you know what I mean? I think that there's no point these 2 going for net run rate, right?
Yeah,
these 2 should be thinking we can still win the game. It's slightly unlikely.
What price can we get wicket in next over? Because that's happening.
Wicket in next over?
I can see 2.5. Jarrod, you've got 750 betting accounts. Can you get any bigger? 2.5 is quite short, but I really fancy it, so I would have a small bet on wicket next over. It becomes less good if they lose 1 now. Samad can't be there for much longer, I don't think. So let's look at Samad's run line here. Okay, the bookies are definitely onto that, fair enough.
Yeah, I can't see anything here. Interesting.
Oh no, hang on. 28.5. I think that's too many for Samad from here, because he's going to have to smoke Patharana, and that means he's
what's
probably
he on
going
at
to
the
get cleaned
moment?
up. Is he on 12 off 12 or 12 off 14 or something?
He might be, somewhere around there.
I think giving him another 16.5 is too many.
Is that Gaikwad?
Yeah, he hurt his hand earlier, didn't he?
Well, I'm just saying he's not going to be wicket keeping as a backup to
That
Tony.
almost looks like broken.
It looks very close to a
thumb.
broken thumb.
Oh no!
I'm not sure he should be out on the field.
Oh no!
And that'd be bad if you had him for most runs in the tournament.
If it's shaking, that means it's broken, because I have broken my thumb, and you can't stop it from shaking. It just you know it's broken. That one that doesn't work, and that one comes out the other way.
Is that from being a hockey goalkeeper?
Yeah, I've broken my fingers and toes more times than you could possibly imagine.
How many times?
because we have
we have a break. I'm just saying, if you want to go through your entire childhood.
Do you want to hear some injuries?
Oh, this isn't the scene from Jaws, is it?
I've had some really good injuries. I think the funniest one was when I got elbowed in the head playing football in goal, and there was a lot of blood at the time. I won't go into that too much, but someone basically just got a lump of Vaseline, cracked me on the head with it, and I forgot about it.
Yeah.
And that night I went home I went to my dad's house to see my dad, and I was just chatting away.
Then he hit you on the head.
And we'll get to that. I was just chatting away, and they said, Rob, you've got some blood coming out of your head. And I was like, oh yeah, I got whacked in the head. He said, I think we should, let me have a look. And there's a massive hole in the back of my head. He said, I think I'll take you to the hospital. So he took me to the hospital, and I said, I haven't got time for, anaesthetic and all that nonsense, do what you want. And they said, you've left it too long, you idiot. It's too big a hole. And they basically got a staple gun and went, and put 2 staples in my head. And so, and they said, come back in a week and we'll take him out. I said, I'm not queuing for hours for you to take him out. I'll take him out. And they said, please get somebody to do it at the very least. So next week I went back
to a vet,
to my dad, and he got a staple remover out, and I think it's about the most I've ever seen him laugh. He was like this, yanking these staples out of my head, and that he really enjoyed that. I hope he's watching, because Dad, you loved that, didn't you?
I'm trying to think of how we fill our time, because there's no
Should I just read out how many teams Imran Tahir's played for?
I think Gaikwad should be off the field. Yeah. I don't see what the point of him being out on the field is at the moment, if his thumb was anywhere near that bad, because that ball, Munners, was trickling.
Yeah, it was rolling to him, and
he's not really a captain anyway.
No, exactly. Yeah, when you've got Donny on the field, it's fine, and there must be loads of lads sitting around doing nothing.
Yeah.
It's the IPL, that's basically all it is.
Exactly, get someone on the field. So they need 105 from 32. You can get that at 55, at 55s at the moment.
They haven't got Klassen out yet.
They haven't got Klassen out yet.
But they cannot hit Shardul Thakur. So
it's not.
How do you chase it?
Yeah. So let's look at that statistically. They need 14. They need to hit about half their balls from here for 6.
Klassen can do it, but you need a ball that's definitely got air. I think there's something in my theory that MS gets to choose what ball they play with sometimes, and the whatever one they've chosen here is he looks on.
To be fair, they weren't really whacking the other one either.
Yeah, that's true.
I think we're going to get back underway. Shardul is 20. He's gone for 20 from his 2.4. So to be honest, that we've seen him and Unadkat, I still won't say non-specialists for Unadkat, but two guys who can go.
Yeah.
I think they might be vying for the most expensive bowlers in IPL history, those two, over their entire careers. Shardul is the most expensive, and I think Unadkat is in the top 2 or 3 as well.
And Unadkat has made absolutely stacks of cash from having a left hand, essentially. Well, we're back playing cricket, which is nice.
It's a half volley outside of stump. And
No, they can't hit this ball now.
But you say that's the ball. That is when you can see here. Klaasen is bright red, by the way. It was. He looks really, really struggling. I was going to say maybe that yoked him. It didn't, though, did it? He just dragged it back onto his foot.
Just lost his shape a little bit, really. He's sort of closing his eyes and swinging, which isn't like him at all.
No. So if they got 10 sixes off, and then they've got 21 more balls to score another 44 runs. So they need at least 10 sixes. They probably need more than that, if we're being honest. But they'll get some boundaries, they'll get some wides, all these sorts of things.
So this was lining up to be a great day for Chennai because they're going to win this game comfortably. And Patharana's just about to take loads of wickets.
That's a wide, isn't it? Are they not calling wides anymore?
You know who the wicketkeeper is for Chennai, don't you?
But
that's just a wide.
Thank you. Yeah. What? We're having a timeout.
Of course we are.
I do not understand how that is not a wide, unless he hit it.
Maybe.
I mean, it did bounce. The Chennai wicketkeeper is, don't you?
We're going to have a strategic timeout here on Cricket8. Go over to the Facebook page, give us a like. Remember, you can email us at live@cricket8.com. Oh, it's got worse. It's getting worse. You can email us live@cricket8.com. And also, there's plenty of content on the website as well. And we'll be back in a few moments to finish this game out with a Heinrich Klaasen victory. Would you like to give us an official comment? Do you still hate KKR and will they not win the title?
So I really like KKR.
They only won by one run against the worst team in the league.
Once again, for those in the back that didn't hear it before, they are not going to win the IPL. I'll tell you why. They spent the farm on a bloke called Mitchell Starc, who you may have heard of, and he's bowling absolute dross, and he's rolling in and bowling reasonably fast on a length. He is a bowling machine on easy mode. He wasn't allowed to bowl 4, and he went for 18 or 4 balls against Khan Sharma. It's not an actual batsman. He is awful, and they have banked on him. They have got lots of match-winning cricketers, and they have got a crazy volatile batting lineup. But so far in this
who do they bring in your view? If you take Starc out, which is, again, it's a difficult thing to do because it's an honour system, and if you've just spunked £2 million on a Mitchell Starc and you take him out, then what you're basically saying is we got it wrong.
Well, also, it causes issues within the team.
So
another player who has to come in and bowl at the death who's getting paid no money is going to be looking and going, well, why are you making me do all this hard stuff when you paid him all this money?
So they're always a chance of winning a match, but they need a lot of luck, and if they don't finish in the top 2, they're second at the moment. They've got a very healthy net run rate, but they've got SRH breathing down their necks.
You can email us at live@cricket8.com. And Crick De Facto says, how relevant is bowling
really
in
enjoyed
T20?
them with the first game.
Most grounds are 200 plus. I don't think most grounds are 200 plus. What's about the par score now? About 186?
It depends on whether you're talking about par winning score or par score.
When you say this, the NBA is a really interesting one when it comes to defense. There's no actual way to stop an NBA player from scoring. Right? They are going to score roughly around 1 point per possession in the NBA, no matter what you do. But if you just become an offensive team and you get to the playoffs and your offense gets stopped by the opposition, you're still going to lose. So bowling still matters. Welcome back here on Cricket8. Remember, you can email at live@cricket8.com. Patharana is coming on, and Gaikwad is still on the field. Why? And I know, Rob Barron, that this is going to annoy you.
Yes, because he's obviously hurt himself. He hurt himself in the first innings. He's just hurt himself again in the field, and that looked really painful. He's got his thumb heavily strapped, and he's still fielding. He doesn't need to captain. We all know, let's be honest, he ain't really captaining anyway. So he doesn't need to be there. Go and have a sit down, put some ice on it. They need you for the rest of this tournament. Back bowled everyone at 5, which I can see now. Everyone's on wicket this over at 2.5. It's extremely likely that Patharana gets somebody out now. And we're all on Samad unders as well. And the thing about, the reason why the market is totally given up on this chase now, other than the condition of the ball, it looks like it's difficult. This guy doesn't get hit for 6s, and they can only win if they hit loads and loads of 6s, and he's bowling 3 of the last 5, and this is why I keep betting him top bowler. He might not win today because Deshpande went mental, as Deshpande can do.
Yes.
But getting 3 of the last 5 when they need 17 and over is wickets time normally, as he bowls an inexplicable dot.
No, Klaasen has got to stop getting off strike. Klaasen just needs to face the next 30 balls.
This would be really good for all our bets if Patharana just cleans up Samad right now. I can't believe they're giving him another 16.5 from here, the bookies. That's too high, because he has to score at an incredible rate, and he's 12 or 14, and he's facing a bowler that is, to be blunt, better than him. Like Patharana's really, I want to be on the bowler here a lot.
Yeah.
So I'm under 28.5 for Samad. There's only 5 overs left anyway. He might be not out, and so there's 2 ways you can win that bet. And Patharana's great, and I'm on bowled at 5.0, and I'm on wicket in this over.
So he's still on 25, Simone?
I can see 25, yeah. I'd back under 28.5.
Well, he's just whacked this down the ground for 6.
Can't happen.
There you go.
Can't happen, Patharana getting hit for 6.
Yeah.
Fair play to him.
I don't know what to hit, but I'm so excited. I'm so excited to see a 6, because it's been several years, Munners, since we've seen
it just feels like such a long time. And I came into this run chase with so much energy and so much expectation.
You were. You brought it, as they say.
Yeah, it's fallen off a cliff, isn't it, really? It's such a shame. But hey, you never know. That's gone for 6.
The bookies are breathing a collective sigh of relief.
They won't if they hit another 3 or 4 6s.
Imagine if they chase this one. Some bookies are closing. Come on, Patharana.
There's 82 million in the Betfair market at the moment. Patharana comes in, it's a length ball outside off stump. He wants to run himself out. He decides not to.
Good tactic.
To be honest, he's had 2 balls here. He could have hit for 6.
Yeah. I mean, they're wide half volleys, aren't they? Really?
Yeah. Patharana's just got to get it back on the right length here. I reckon this ball's a little bit wet again.
Yeah.
Do you think that's what's happening here?
I think he's a little bit worried about bowling Yorkers, because the Yorker is the one that can go really wrong for him, right? They just need more overs from Shardul. And that's what we said at the start of the day.
What do you think the run line should be for the next over, guys? 17th. So it's not Patharana.
It should be 15, because Klaasen is in and he's going to have to hit 6s, isn't he?
Yeah.
Oh.
You leave that ball all day. That would have been a wide.
They're not giving the wides, are they?
Yeah, I know. That might be the problem.
12.5.
Yeah.
12.5 next over.
Okay, if you bet over 12.5 next over and you back wicket in next over, can you lose?
Well, it's they're onto it with wicket. 2.25 is short when you've got 2 actual batsmen at the crease and it isn't Patharana. Like, I wouldn't back that, but I think 12.5. I know what your angle is. Like, how do I lose both of those bets?
Yeah. The Patharana won't be bowling the next over, so the wicket next over should.
It's bigger than this over, I think.
Oh, okay.
Because do you know what I mean? 2.25 is too short for me to get involved with wicket next over.
Klaasen. He's got the Yorker and he's hit an incredible shot, but he should be caught, and he is. And that is that. To be fair, this is a weird thing to say. I don't think there are many players in the world who would have been able to dig that ball out and hit it as hard as Klaasen did. But unfortunately for him, Darryl Mitchell has taken his 93rd catch in this thing. He might be man of the match for his catches.
Absolutely
is
everywhere.
That his third?
I think so, yeah.
You know what it was, though? It was wicket in the over, which is nice.
Oh,
I told you about that. Even the bell's running out of steam here. Come on, lads. Last 15 minutes.
Let's bring it home strong.
Come on.
But yes, that one, certainly, I think Klaasen did well, but the problem is trying to hit 6s off that kind of a ball. Really, if Klaasen had faced the other 2 balls, or even the other 3 balls in this over, he would have been a much better chance. But Shabazz is coming in, so he can obviously hit some 6s, but we expect them now to probably just net run rate this from here on in.
Do you think what your best friend Shabazz does now is just nudge it about and try not to be bowled out for 130. How good is the under 180 looking here?
Also, Gaikwad has to be dragged off the field at this stage.
Yeah. There's just no point. There's no need for him.
If a ball gets hit to him now and he can't play for the next couple of games, do people understand how much money Rob Barron will miss out on?
This is true. I have got myself very firmly on the Gaikwad train.
Is Gaikwad one of those bets that if it comes off, you and your wife and your daughter are going on a lovely holiday?
That is absolutely true, yeah. Wow. Gaikwad or Virat to be the top run scorer, but I have doubles with Gaikwad and Patharana in. And if both of those were to win
together, you've got a double on both of them.
Yeah. On Patharana and Gaikwad, which I only placed about a week ago. I backed Gaikwad before the tournament. I didn't back Patharana before the tournament because I thought he was injured, which apparently he was. He didn't play the first couple, did he?
Shabazz is in and defends. There we
go.
go.
The forward defence. So this is where that 12.5 now I really wouldn't want to be on. Yeah. Because I think the net run rate thing, so that's something to look out for now, is if they're playing like that, if they're blocking Patharana, they've been told we can't win this game, net run rated lads. So that means we can now look at the bookies will probably be putting up really high run lines here, thinking they're trying to chase 20 and over, which I don't think they are if that's the shot that he's going to play to that ball. Shabazz came in and net run rated last time, you think, Jarrod, getting his horrible 40 not out. That was a really bad watch. That was as bad as Shreyas Iyer's 40 not out in that chase the other week.
So the run line on this innings, by the way, is a 158.
So we told you to back under 180 and we told you to double down on under 173 after the wicket.
How do you feel about 158?
40 in 4 with 2 of them being bowled by Patharana.
It doesn't look likely,
It's a lot, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a lot.
And
if they're playing for that run rate,
although Shardul's come on, so that's thrown me a little bit.
You hold fire.
And Patharana is going off.
God almighty.
Come on, just let me...
Can all my players stop being injured, please?
That has confused me a lot on that bet that I was definitely halfway through making.
You have to keep the powder dry here.
I might give this a couple of balls and see what happens here. I might do this bet based on intent.
Yeah.
If there's no intent in the first 2 or 3 balls, I think you can pretty safely go under on almost any number there.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that was just a watchful first delivery, and he is going to have a dip.
Yeah,
it's interesting. This is where the traders are tired. It's been a long day here. Like they've had a crazy game to deal with, where they've all been discombobulated by that, and then this game they've been terrified of the chase, looking at their prices. It feels to me like they're not trying to chase this now, and they're thinking about the net run rate, which, to be fair, when you're 100 to 1 to knock the runs off here, 1,000 to 1. Okay, 1,000 to 1. Probably 8 to 1 with the high street. The way they've been ducking these chases. Let's see who the shortest price is in the high street when you can back 1,000 to 1. I see Betfred have gone home. Fair enough. But this is where, as a punter, if you've got fixed odds betting accounts, you can sometimes find angles because honestly, the traders, and you can't really blame them, are already in the pub. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've had a really long day trading. We've done our spuds in the first game. We've done our spuds again, laying overs on Chennai. Luckily, they haven't chased it. Let's go and have a beer, sort of thing. They're probably thinking that.
Samad's still going here, and he's out. I should have done the unders.
That's Samad's unders cash for everybody.
So that's unders on Samad, and probably, if we're being honest, if you did go unders on, what was that, 158, you would have got in. I never quite pulled the trigger, Munners. No. I should have.
Yeah, it's also that all out is looking all right at the moment as well.
Can you bet on all out this late?
You can't, I don't think. This is the sort of thing. So back in the day, you used to be able to offer manual markets, so you could literally just type in, will they be all out, and put a price next to it and chuck it up and say that'll be entertaining for the punters, let's put something up. Because I used to get bored when I was trading at the end of games like this, and I would put something like that up. I would put up who's going to hit the winning runs, will the last ball be a 4 or a 6, that sort of stuff. That seems to have gone from bookmaking. To Sky Bet's credit, that is something that Sky Bet do a lot. I like Sky Bet as far as Their website's really fun. It's quite well laid out. There's lots of yellow on there telling you it's a boost and all that stuff. I like it. Some of those boosts are a crime, and they're way under the odds that they should be. But some of them.
Is it like when you have a membership at a supermarket and they go, you're getting 20% off, but they've actually put the prices up
by 90%?
Yeah.
It's a bit like that. But there's some of those boosts are genuine value, to be fair. But what Sky Bet do a lot is they have that ability where the traders can go during a test match. They'll say, "Will Joe Root still be in at T? Yes or no?" And that I love them because the traders at least trying to do something like be proactive, make the game a bit more interesting, and people love betting on stuff like that. And what needs to come back into the cricket trading game that has gone is that thing when you are sat with your mates watching cricket and you're like, "Do you reckon?" And like me and you might have a bet for a fiver if we're at the cricket. Do you reckon there's going to be a wicket in the next over? Who's going to get the winning runs here? That's a great market. Could be Cummins, could be not the winning runs, the last.
Who's going to get the winning runs?
That, I was thinking, that seems optimistic.
That's the sort of thing that we would do in an easy chase.
Yeah.
You know they're chasing this, so let's put. Everyone's given up on the match winner because they need 13 off 80 balls and there's 6 wickets in hand or whatever. That's when you can start chucking up these things, and it's kind of gone out of the game a bit. That sort of trading, it's really fun.
Maybe he should have come in up the order. Look at him as if to say, I could have done this on my own, lads. 123 for 7. So 2 balls to come in the 17th over.
Yeah, it's exactly the ball that a couple of people have failed to put away by trying to throw the action kitchen sink at it and hit it down the ground, and he just leant back and carved it beautifully.
His first ball, he played and missed at one that was into the wicket. I think if Shardul can get the ball back into the wicket here, he might be in a better situation. He doesn't really need to bowl wide Yorkers to him. He has bowled the wide Yorker, and it's not been given a wide. They're going to review this. Yeah. Well, I honestly think Klaasen probably missed out on some reviews early on. So I think he's right to do this, Cummins. This is what I don't understand here. Shabazz is clearly batting for the net run rate.
Which is, fine.
But then Cummins, the captain, this is the second time we've seen him come out and not do that.
Yeah, 30 or 15 last time. Well, Cummins has got a 14 ball 50 in the
He does.
RPL.
He's a beautiful striker at the ball.
He's so good
Wide not given,
so good at cricket, Pat Cummins, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's so good at cricket. I don't think he's a very good T20 bowler. I still don't think that. But he seems to have developed the ability to whack spin now as well, which he never usually had.
Yes, that was a big issue for him.
That's a thing.
So I've told you before why he got good against pace.
You have?
Yeah, just on the ball machines and the throwdowns. And so he spent 6 years not playing cricket. And I remember talking to him when he was about 21, 22, and he said, I might be good at batting now. Yeah. And it was kind of a joke, but what he was saying is he just spent so long doing it. But then the minute the ball went up out of the hand from a spinner, he went, what's this? I've never seen this before. And so it really did affect him. Deshpande, you don't want Deshpande on, do you?
Not at all.
But if Patharana is not going to bowl...
So this is the problem. Patharana's got injured.
How many overs does Mustafiza have left?
Because Fizz has got 2 left. So now Patharana won't bowl again. And I was quite excited about my top bowler bet today. I'm very excited about my top tournament bowler because they need 89 off 18, and I thought Patharana was going to bowl 12.
Yeah.
And now he can't. And injuries can kill bet, and they're really annoying because he was going to win top bowler today. He was going to get another couple of wickets.
Yeah.
Injuries, and you just go, them's the breaks, never mind. It's probably cost me, 4 figures or whatever today. And you go, okay, never mind, on we go. And now Deshpande might get a couple of cheapies. It depends whether they try and mow him or not. But if you're playing for net run rate, you still have to score some runs. And they're not doing that at the moment either. Because Jarrod is frantically trying to get his shirt off for some reason.
So that was a slower ball outside off stump. He took the pace off that and beat Cummins. Cummins is looking for a wide there. I don't think that was a wide at all. He's reviewing again. Well, this must be his last review at least, Munners.
It just didn't look like it was anywhere near going over his head.
It did not, no. But he's stretching this Pat Cummins as far as he can. Want some time in the middle, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, why not?
I mean, every run matters to him.
Yeah,
at the moment,
exactly,
let's be fair. Yeah. From a net run rate point of view, I've got no issue with that. I just don't think it was actually a wide. Have we seen the... Oh, we're just having a moment.
Yeah.
Have they not found the side on camera? Here we go. So it's a slower ball bouncer. Cummins gets low, and that will not be a wide. So we'll have 2 dot balls to start this over. I think that's fair. 124 for 7. Now they can bowl wides all the way through because these umpires are non-widers, by the way.
Yeah.
So you want to get a cheeky finish to this game and to help your figures. And this is slogged across the line. This could be out by Pat Cummins. And it is. So if you went on the unders when we said before, it hasn't come in yet, but I think that's the last guy who's going to come in and swing. Net run rate from here, surely.
Definitely net run rate from here. And who's underneath it again? Daryl Mitchell.
And he was not.
Yes.
Man of the match.
Unbelievable. Just catching everything. He's everywhere.
That's his 4th catch.
Yeah.
No wonder the ball's been wet.
Yes.
So Cummins just walked across the line then. Deshpande. This is a sneaky good sign for Chennai, Rob, going forward, because Deshpande taking wickets is probably one of the things they've missed.
Yeah.
If you've got Patharana and Deshpande taking wickets in the last 6 overs, even if you come into it 2 wickets down, you might end up with them 8 wickets down.
The big thing here for Chennai moving forward, this is almost the perfect game for them, Chennai.
Except for the thumb.
A huge net run rate boost, but they've got Patharana and Gaikwad, probably their 2 best players, their best bat and their best bowler, injured. And we don't know how injured they are. They don't have the luxury of the Rajasthan luxury of being able to rest players that are a bit injured. They have to get themselves into the playoffs. So this is great for Chennai today, but it might not be if they lose one or both of those 2. Why am I not seeing a Nadcat on my screen? Where is the cat? Send for the cat.
Is it? Nadcat's a slogger, isn't he?
He can bat a Nadcat.
But my point is, they might have sent Boovie out just to make sure they don't lose any wickets and that they get a couple of extra. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Just make sure they get to 135.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's not what I would have done.
But I want to see the cat.
Yeah,
that's
I
what I want to see.
Well, that's all you frigging talked about all game.
Give me more a Nadcat.
I would love if he came out and you got really excited. He just left every ball. 1,000 to 1, if anyone wants it.
Yeah.
Now, there are some people who will put money on things like that, aren't there?
Yeah, a friend of mine is sat there laying 1,000 as we speak. Just like...
You must have to have a fortune in your Betfair account to be able to do that.
Indeed you do. And he makes quite good money laying 1,000 to 1 shots that can't possibly happen. It's like if someone has 20 quid with them, yes, you need 20,000 in your Betfair account, but let's say someone has 20 quid. So, well, they've just bought me dinner. Cheers. Yep. And if you do that enough times, you can make yourself, like, he probably makes himself like a weekend away every year doing that, and he's picking money up off the floor if you've got enough. But as usual with the universe, money goes to money, doesn't it? You need a massive tank to be able to do that. Because I could say to you now, Jarrod, I'll lay you 1,000 to 1 for as much as you want, but I can't pay you out if you have 1,000 quid. I've got £1 million sat there, have I?
Well, I don't know.
If Fraser McGurk does every over, then maybe one day. If he keeps doing what he did yesterday for us.
Last ball of Deshpande's over, and that's well worked by Boovie. Boovie wants 2. Good on him. Sneaky little 2 there. Almost kicked for 4, actually. Down on the boundary. If you are on the unders, not exactly what you're looking for, Munners.
No.
We're all on unders, aren't we, for this inning?
I am, yeah.
Yeah, I think really that under 180 was great, but the under 173 after the wicket.
I should have gone in very early on in this, and I didn't.
It was fantastic. The run line now, decimal still going. Fair play. 142 and a half. Giving them 14 and a half of these last 2. I don't really have any arguments with that. They've gone very short on the dot on the 1 here. They're saying they're playing for net run rate here. They're just going to nudge singles around.
They should score 12 more runs. Yeah,
they should.
Yeah,
that's probably what the plan is now.
If they get to 10 or 12 more runs, I thought Deshpande was going off then. I was like, surely we can't have anyone else go off the field for them. And the only guy who hasn't gone off the field is Gaikwad, or if he has, we missed it.
Yeah.
Mustafiz is coming on.
I'm so annoyed Patharana didn't bowl those 2 money overs there. He's due 2.5 wickets if he bowls those overs. That's a big deal. As my computer.
Have you got any money on Deshpande for most wickets?
Yeah, I did for the season. Yeah, he's quite a long way behind, but he could.
This could be. Oh, it's gone for 4.
Shot
sneaky.
Good shot from
Shabazz. I'm not sure about the short, slower ball bouncer outside off stump at this point.
Not a great option, is it?
Not the money ball, because they want their net run rate to be good as well.
Yeah.
Chennai are in the pack now. They're in the sort of 4th place shake-up. because they're not creating dog pitches at home, which they need to start doing.
In fairness to the Fizz, I just think he's got that very wrong. It's just stayed in his head. It was out the back of their hand, wasn't it?
We've got an email from Sam. It says, bad day for me today. I doubled down on Sunrisers. I still got under 141.5 at 1.8. If this doesn't work, it's early drinks today. Well, he needs. So what? Let's ride the San train all the way through. He needs a dot ball here, very much. Oh, Shabazz has just whacked this for 6. Oh, it could be out.
Ding.
It is out. Wow, that's Sam.
And who's underneath it?
It's Darryl Mitchell. Oh my God, Munners.
He's absolutely everywhere.
If this is not a man of the match performance, I don't know what is.
The best thing you could have bet today is Darryl Mitchell performance points, because he's catching everyone, and he got. How many did he get with the bat?
He got 50,
yeah.
so he's got 100
52.
performance points?
Yeah, he's got 102.
That was, I tell you what, that was lucky from the Fizz. He bowled actually a horrendous over, where he's got both those balls horribly wrong.
This is bad signs for, as we see somebody get a wicket, and we're like, this is bad signs for Chennai, because he's bowled rubbish there.
Yeah.
And he was rubbish in the last game, Fizz. Although he's going home in a few days, isn't he, Fizz?
Yes.
Bangladesh have said, we want to get you ready for the T20 World Cup. I would say that playing for Chennai in the IPL gets you ready for the T20 World Cup.
So if you let him play and he gets injured, how do you feel?
I feel bad, but can I give you my point? Never let anyone play ever.
When did Mustafiz bowl best in this tournament?
2 weeks ago.
At the start of the tournament?
Yeah. Was that 2 weeks ago? Or it was about 2 years ago.
I think because of the way he bowls better on rest. And I reckon Bangladesh, after all these years of me saying this and writing this and talking on podcasts about this, because what he does with his arm is unnatural, and he has problems sometimes with his wrist, but it's usually his shoulder from the rotations he's putting on the ball, right? And I think your man Unadkat is out, by the way.
Yay!
I think
the cat.
I think your absolute best bet with him is just to give him rest and see how he goes.
I like it. And it's quite big balls from the Bangladesh board to say, you're not playing for Chennai, mate, get yourself off home, because the Chennai board have got quite a lot of sway. As we have another email in.
Varun says, has the South African chase curse spread to SRH? He's quite punchy, Varun. He works for me. He's throwing some things there. I would say that what we have seen today is the regression, because you can't keep 7 players in form all the way through a season. Yeah. And that's what I've been talking about quite a bit when it comes to Sunrisers. And I think what we saw today is just that. Right, it's just you would have this in club cricket so often, right? Where the first half of the year, you guys you put on 350, you chase 200, one wicket down, everyone's great, and then all those guys are in form. They just go back to normal form after that, and which is not terrible, but suddenly you've gone from looking like the best team in the league to the worst team.
Yeah, absolutely. But I suppose with Sunrisers, it is that kind of. It feels like a headless approach, right? The sort of everyone's going to go and whack it, and. These days, it's going to happen. It's just going to happen naturally. And to be honest, I'm just very sad it happened today.
Yeah, no. Today was the one I really wanted, and I'm not just saying that because of the amount of money I bet. No, just because the first game was a bit dry, and I was like, this would be great even if they didn't do it. It was a messy chase and they got 10 short or whatever. Yeah. But this is kind of the worst. I mean, the best thing we have now is that San's run line is 142.5.
Right.
Right?
Okay.
Come on, San.
It's 134. He's had a terrible day, our man San. He sent us a million emails. It's a back of the hand slow ball. It's hit straight to cover. Is that out? Has San got his money? That's what we wanted! Woo!
Go on, Sam.
Well done, San. There's your all out.
134 bowled out. Sunrisers. Did they lose their last game? Is that 2 on the trot for them?
Yeah.
Okay. So they've that I think is not exactly where you want to be. But Chennai, I still have a lot of issues with Chennai, and the guy quad thumb. I don't want to get too Rosie Perez on this, but sometimes when you win, you really lose, and sometimes when you lose, you really win, and sometimes when it's a loss or a tie, you really win.
Yeah,
yeah.
And sometimes when you tie, you actually win or lose.
Yeah, you've seen the movie
about 1,000 times.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the best film.
I don't know the reference.
Go and watch White Men Can't
White
Jump.
Men Can't Jump.
Don't do anything else until you've watched it.
Do you know what makes this worse? I've seen the new Disney version.
Oh,
I've not seen the.
You need to see the original. I promise you. I don't. There are a lot of alt-right people who say things, they won't make movies like this anymore, and then they actually remade that movie. But you couldn't make it like they made it, because it was so brilliant the way that they put it together.
White Men Can't Jump is one of the, if not the greatest films ever. It's absolutely brilliant. Everyone go and watch that right now.
Do you want to know what the most racist thing of that film is?
Here he goes.
They cast Woody Harrelson because Woody Harrelson was good at basketball. So they had David Duchovny, George Clooney, and Woody Harrelson who could all play. And they went through, and it was like, Woody Harrelson's the best player. He fits the character. We'll go with him. They cast Wesley Snipes because he was back. And so they assumed he could play basketball, and they had to teach him. If you watch him bouncing the ball in the thing, like my 9-year-old has better handles than Wesley Snipes does. Anyway, I think we're going to go pretty much straight into the podcast. I've had to take my earpiece out, so I'm just waiting. Luke, if you could yell out, are we going to go straight into the podcast? He's going to give me a little sting, and then in a couple of minutes we'll be back. So don't leave if you're with us on the website, or if you're on YouTube. We're streaming these on YouTube now. We'll be back in a moment, and we'll go through both of these games. And this podcast is going to be bigger than Guy Quad's thumb. You can email us
in the
at
IPL.
live
Top
at
14
cricket8.com.
But the
and
playoffs are
Cricket
very
de facto
clever.
says
It's
how
confusing,
relevant is
especially
bowling if you're not from Australia, because
Most grounds
we have
are
this
200 plus.
I don't think most
style
grounds in
in
Australia.
Australia.
It was
What's
taken
about
from
the
Australian
half
rules
now, about
football
186?
and rugby league.
It depends
And
on whether
essentially
you're
what
talking
happens
about par
is
winning
the
score or
first team
par
plays the
score.
second team.
When you
and they get
say
a
this,
second
the
chance.
NBA
What
is a really
happens is
interesting one when it comes to
by
defence. There's
coming
no
first
actual
in
way
league,
to
you get a
stop
second
an NBA player
chance,
from
and you
scoring.
also get a chance to go straight into the final.
They are
and
going
have
to
a week
score
off and rest your fast
roughly
bowlers and all
around
those sorts
a
of
1
good things.
point per
So
possession
1 versus
in the
2,
NBA, no
and
matter
they
what you
go
do.
straight into the
But
final.
if you just
3
become an
versus 4
offensive
play
team
and eliminate,
and you get to the
So
playoffs,
whoever
and
loses
your
out of them
offense
gets
gets
stopped
stopped
by the
and
opposition.
goes to the
You're still
Maldives
going to
and
lose.
have a holiday
So
with
bowling
Danny
still
Morrison.
matters.
Probably for the
It's
last
just
time as well.
defense, and you need to
Combined
think
models.
about it in a very different way. And so let's say 3 beats 4 and 1 beats 2.
If you go
because
into
that
it,
makes no
how many
sense. One
teams
goes
have you
into
ever
the
seen
final,
Cricket
and then
Factor
2
that have won
plays
any
3
leagues
in
without at
secondary
least par bowling,
eliminator,
let alone plus
and whoever
bowling?
wins out of that
It's
goes into the
almost
final.
zero,
2
isn't
beats
that right,
3,
Jack?
1 versus 2
yeah,
play in
it's-
the final.
Dan
So
Weston did a
in
pretty
finishing
good
in the
piece
top
actually
2, you
for
give
more
yourself
about
every
bowling
chance
in
of making the
last-
playoffs, even if you don't do it on the first game. And finishing 3 versus 4, you basically have to be perfect in order to win the championship.
You've got to win 3 playoff games, haven't you?
Exactly.
Every time.
all the time, and that should tell you something. Now, obviously, good bowling in T20 cricket is different to good bowling in Test matches
Very
and ODIs. So, like, people say, "Oh, it's a tough game for the bowlers all the time," and sixes are flying here, there, and everywhere. What good bowling is relevant. Is relative to what other bowlers are doing.
Yeah.
I mean, if cricket, ultimately in T20 cricket especially, it's a zero-sum game. Like if a batter is going to score runs, it has to be off a bowler, and because of that dynamic, the bowler is always in the game. They've always got a chance, and they're always relevant.
It's a weak link sport, so you need everyone to be strong with bowling. And batting is a strong link sport. You can get away with 3 really good batters and a bunch of Deepak Huda type players around. Welcome back to Cricket 8. I'm Jarrod Kimber. We're going to do a podcast here on the 2 games that we saw today. Largely forgettable, but this podcast won't be. This podcast is going to be full of absolute nuggets. We'll be talking about Shabazz and all the other players as well. I'm going to let Munners. Which game do you want to talk about first?
I'd like to talk first about the first game and Will Jacks.
Oh, yeah, that's good. Let's start with Will Jacks.
Jackson.
It was interesting because for a long time there, Munners, he was playing the spin like it had just been invented.
Yeah.
And then he went nuts.
But the great thing about that innings was that he was consistently playing the same shot to absolutely everything, missing it, and then it just clicked, and it happened for him, which goes to show, if at first you missed a slog sweep, keep playing the slog sweep until you've hit, what was it, 60 off
10 brutal sixes. He went from 50 to 100 in 10 balls, if you don't mind, playing against Rashid Khan.
And he, I mean, you talk about him struggling from hitting the spinners early, but he wasn't really looking like he was that Will Jacks.
He was 17 off 17, Jarrod.
Yeah, he has booked in the opening spot for Rajasthan. What teams he play for? RCB next year. And he might have booked in a opening spot for England.
I hope so, as an Englishman. We all love Will Jacks,
Thought you were
don't
from
we?
Gibraltar.
17 off 17, and he got a 41 ball 100. Like, we've seen some hitting in this IPL, but to mow Rashid Khan into the ground at the end there, that was special. Kohli was laughing his head off because Kohli didn't have to do anything to chase it. The best chaser ever, who was chasing over 200, just basically leant on his bat and watched Jacks go berserko, and that was a brilliant watch. He was brilliant. Well done, RCB. You still can't qualify.
Just on Sai Sudarshan, I wanted to talk about Gujarat a little bit as well. We know he's really consistent. Do you? You and I are more obsessed with him than anyone else. I've done a 20-minute video on Sai Sudarshan, which 12 people from Gujarat have watched. Do you think he's unlocked another level?
I think it's possible. He's done it twice in a row now, where he hasn't done his thing and got out for exactly 35, which I used to love it when he did that because it's really profitable. But he's third in the race for the orange cap, and he's scoring at a much slower strike rate than anyone else in the top 20 for the race for the orange cap. But today and last innings, and he's got 150 runs in those two, not out today, he proved that he does have the gears. And there was a bit earlier, Munners, where he hit two beautiful fours directly between the same two fielders in a row, and it was like, he's a surgeon. Maybe he has got and if he has got gears, he could be anything, Sudarshan. He's always looked limited. He's only 22 years of age, Sudarshan. He could be anything. Like you watch him and you think, he's been around for quite a while. He must be 28.
We've seen him face a lot of balls.
Yeah, we've seen him play loads of cricket. He always gets 10. We know that, so we always see him get at least double figures. But as a 22-year-old, if he can find these gears, what I think he needs to find is third and fourth, and then the fifth comes naturally when you. Yeah. So what he's been doing so far is going, I can nudge it around. I'm brilliant at scoring 25. And then he goes, now I'm going to show you how brilliant I am and try and score 100, like do what Will Jacks just did. Yeah. And he can't do that yet because he's 22. But if he develops the third gear and then the fourth, watch Butler. He goes first, second, third, fourth, fifth. And if he gets to fifth, get out of the way. Like, put your hard hat on in the crowd because he's going. If he can get to there, he's 22. And I thought he was 28. Like, do you know what I mean? Because I've watched him bat for years. He's got a high ceiling, that bloke.
Gujarat, the biggest issue is that they really don't have the ability to score at the level of some of these other teams. Fine, we understand that. But now, you watch Rashid Khan and Nur Ahmed today and Mohit Sharma, and you start to think to yourself, they're 4 and 6. What needs to go right from here, Munners, for them to get a final spot? You almost count it out just because I don't know if they're not going to score quick enough and their defensive bowlers aren't very good. It's just not a good combo.
We also didn't feel like when they were bowling they were particularly aggressive with any of their plans as well. Like it would have been great to see them actually trying to take wickets rather than just sitting back and waiting for Will Jacks to hit another gear, which he inevitably did. And all while that was going on, Kohli was just being Kohli in the background. And I think that leg stump-ish line from Noor just felt so negative in the context of that game because they had to take wickets, otherwise they were going to get completely washed away, and they were.
Just to finish on Rajasthan, RCB. I remember there's so many there's a lot of cricket teams. I say that every time I get a player's name wrong. There's like a lot of professional cricketers when you do the surveys. RCB, they've now won 3 games. They're not going to make the finals, right? I think them, Delhi and Mumbai are incredibly dangerous teams because I think they all have batting that can really upset some of the teams who are going to make the finals. So we have 3 quite tasty spoiler teams at the bottom. Maybe you would say Punjab is the only team that will win some games, but they're not a spoiler team. It makes it really tough for all these other sides, right? We've watched this today. We can see how Rajasthan, RCB, whatever they're called, are going to win more games, right?
Yeah, and the pressure's completely off them as well. And I know you're thinking, well, this is a next year project now, right? How are they gonna shape that top order? And I mean, they found an answer today straight away. And is this the way out for Faf? I know you were saying that.
Yeah, I think you can't start next season with Faf and Kohli again, surely. And I honestly think before today, that's what RCB's plan was. They're like, come on, let's do another year. And in 10 years' time, we'll still be watching Faf and Kohli opening for RCB. And they'll still finish in the bottom half. And until Kohli goes, they will keep building their team in the same way. But today was just a flashing red light to the RCB think tanks. Like, Will Jacks is your future. Get him opening the batting. If you have to move Faf to 3 for now and appease him and let him play because he's the captain, fine. But that guy should be opening. Yeah. He's really good. But he could have got out for 15 or 17 today, and we said that was disappointing from Will Jacks. He's had his chances. Do you know what I mean? And cricket is a fickle beast, and it shone on the fickle beast shone on Will Jacks today.
So the fickle beast in this scenario has a big torch.
Yeah.
Okay. No, that makes perfect sense.
You know that, right?
For a minute, I wasn't sure what you meant, but then I thought about all those fickle beasts I've seen over the years. Let's move on to the other game. How big a thing is Gaikwad's thumb at this stage? I mean, it looked massive. It looked about three times bigger than a normal thumb. So he gets injured, I think, when he was batting, do we think?
He did. Yeah. He called for the physio when he was batting. Then he was pretending to captain when MS Dhoni was definitely doing all the captaining in the second innings. And for some reason that meant he definitely felt like normally, for example, Sudhasan, when you've batted all day in the blazing heat, you go and have a lie down. And Gaikwad should have gone and had a lie down because he had a poor thumb today. And he is absolutely crucial, because they don't have Conway, to their chances of doing anything in this tournament. Gaikwad they build everything. He's the rock on which they build the rest of the side, right? And for huge thumbs down, literally, for Chennai today, is that Gaikwad carried on fielding and got hit in the hand again, and it was shaking like mad. When I broke my thumb, it shook like mad. That doesn't look good for him. And Patharana, who is the rock on which they build the bowling, he also walked off and didn't bowl his last 2 overs. I don't know what's wrong with him, but he didn't bowl his last 2 overs.
And Mustafiz is going home.
And Mustafiz is definitely going home. So
if Gaikwad has a broken thumb, Mustafiz goes home and Patharana misses 2 games. They are currently at 5 and 4. I don't know what their schedules are coming up. But
they've got Punjab next too.
So they should still be 7 and 4. But worst case scenario, if they get to that and they're 6 and 5, hopefully then if Patharana comes back, things can change. But you look at the way they played today. Gaikwad batted really well. Mitchell maiden innings. Dubé eventually came goodish, but they didn't kick on at the end. They actually are not really set up for how the IPL is currently played. They still might be the second best team in overall talent, but if they can't kick on and they lose Mustafiz and Patharana, they're going to be susceptible to the same thing that all other teams are susceptible to, which is you can't defend 260.
Yeah, but also, I mean, I think you made a point earlier, which is at the back end of IPLs, you do tend to find that runs drop off a little bit, so that might play into their favour.
And then Moeen can bowl more, and they got Santner and that sort of stuff.
So it gives them a chance there, but it did feel, and I don't know, it's just whether with the physios running on and all that sort of, Dhoni hurt his finger, was shaking his hand at one point. It did feel like the wheels had come off, despite what was a very good performance, really.
Yeah.
Which is quite impressive, to be honest, to make it look like it's a shambles when you've comfortably won a game of cricket.
Yeah, the guys go. It was a little bit like when the game goes on a little bit long and the club cricketers start going, I can probably head to the car now, guys. We can win this with 9. Rob,
Hello.
The Sunrisers. So my big thing is that if they had been batting the way they had been, but 4 guys were in form, I would have said they can roll this all the way through to the end of the year. Well, when they were batting that way and 6 or 7 guys were in form, my worry was that there was going to be something else that was happening here. Have we seen the end of the glory days of Sunrisers?
I hope not, because it's really fun to watch them. But today it felt a bit like a busted flush, didn't it? It was like, we've got a plan. The plan is, if all of us try and smoke it everywhere, 4 of them will come off and then we win. Right? And they've done that a lot this IPL. And it's been really fun to watch. But it broke down the other day, and today they actually played quite badly today. Like none of them did anything. Head got one away and got out. Abhishek got one away and got out. And Molpreet was a very good impact sub who got first baller, but Deshpande bowled a brilliant ball. Markram got one of the balls of the tournament today. Can't downgrade. He actually looked quite good, but he only got 32 off 26, and he looked quite good chasing 200.
Yeah.
So the wheels have fallen off a bit. And the other thing is, Sunrisers have scored millions of runs in this competition. They've scored the 270. They've scored the 250. You would assume that when in 2 games where they've hit more than 26s, that their net run rate would be through the roof and they'd be clear of the pack. Because of today and games like today, their run rate is positive 0.075.
Yeah, they're basically a par team.
Yeah, and how is that possible when you're hitting 26s in half a game?
It could be their bowling.
It's impossible, and we've shown today that it's their bowling. And when the batting fails, because they've got one mode and it's 5th gear, as soon as the pitches start doing something, they're knackered. They don't know what to do. And Markram came out today. It was like, well, I'm joining in the party.
Yeah, I'm a proper batter. The rest of you are sloggers.
First ball 4, second ball 4.
Yeah.
So they look like they do have a Nadcat, and any team with a Nadcat in can do stuff. They look like they've run their race in this IPL.
Oh, so they cannot win the title. Rob Barron has said it. It's a lock.
They are another team, along with KKR, that can't win the IPL. I love them as well.
Just to be sure, here you have like what happens in like American sports podcasts is they rule out a team a week.
Okay.
Right? And you've decided to rule out the team that is currently second and fourth. And you haven't ruled out, and RCB maybe, you haven't ruled out Mumbai or Punjab or anyone else. It's such a Rob Barron road move.
I'm quite happy.
The ficklest of the fickle beasts.
Well, my torch is turned off for Sunrisers because if they had a net run rate now of anywhere near the top three, you'd think, okay, they can get in that shake-up and a net run rate might see them through if it's tied. How have they managed to get a net run rate that's basically flat? It's not possible with that batting.
I'm going to throw this to Munners because I think this is interesting. I think their batting is 20% better at its peak than anyone else can do.
Yeah.
But I think their bowling is probably 20% worse than anyone else. So I got so much flack from Sunrisers fans because I did my power list and I kept putting them low and kept putting them. And Sunrisers fans are like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, well, here's the problem. If you're good on one side of the ball, eventually that's going to regress a little bit just because you can't keep, Abhishek's not going to keep averaging 83 in the power play at a strike rate of 1 million, right? Yeah. Those numbers may not be correct. But
no, they're exactly right.
But now I look at them and I think, do you know what they are? They are a team that could score 280. They're a team that can probably allow 270, right? So they're a 50-50 team with some pretty sexy wins. They are not, when you look at it at the moment, a team that is going to go on a huge run again. Now, things can change. Those guys can get back in form. They've had their 2 bad games and maybe everything. But do you see what I mean by saying they're more of a 50-50 team?
Absolutely, but I in opposition to that, they kind of feel like the party boys of the IPL, right?
Oh yeah, we all want them to succeed.
Like, so if we're just riding that train and we're getting on board with them and we're saying, well, these guys can hit 280, then absolutely they've got a chance in this competition. They've got a chance against anyone. Yeah. And I know this will probably upset a lot of bowlers, but it is essentially 20 overs of throwdowns, T20 cricket, right? You go and have a whack and we'll have a whack, right? And it has been the case in the IPL this year as well. There's been a lot of flat decks. So why not? Why not the party boys of cricket go on another run? They even get their 2 bad games, get them out of the way, done.
Here's my issue. They're 5 and 4. Their next 3 games are versus Rajasthan, right? They then have a game against Mumbai. So they might be 6 and 5 at that, and then their following game after that is against Lucknow. So they are in a position at that stage in the competition where they could be 50-50, and I'm not sure their batting is going to be confident enough to come back from that. The game after that is Gujarat, so I like their matchup against Gujarat actually. So they might be slightly above par, but you look at them and it doesn't feel to me a sustainable model to win a tournament.
Oh, I agree, but
I'm not going to do a Rob and say they can't win it, because if they come 4th and they make 273 games in a row, then they could win it.
Yes, it's a huge if.
I mean, to be honest, coming into this season, if I told you a team was capable of 3 scores of 250 plus, you'd have said that's a huge.
I'd have said that's nonsense. And then if you'd have said after they've done that and played 9 matches and they've conceded 3 runs less than they've scored in this IPL, which is exactly how is that a thing? How have they scored 250 loads of times and not got ahead net run rate? I don't understand how it's possible. So that's why I don't think they can win it, because they are a team that when the batting clicks, it's awesome, and I don't want them to stop doing what they're doing because it's really fun. I want Markram to go away and let Glenn Phillips have a go, and add another whacker in there. Interesting. Okay. The buzzer's gone a bit rogue. But they're not going to win it, Jarrod. Sunrisers aren't going to win the IPL, Calcutta aren't going to win the IPL, and Mumbai aren't going to win the IPL.
Okay, give me... So, as we sit here, you would say Rajasthan, favourite. Yep.
Just keep their players
fit
to win it.
Who's second favourite? Everyone can come up with the favourite big fickle beast. What have you got for me?
I think so.
I think of you more as a tickle beast.
If... we can do that after the show. If... those 2 very important men are fit for Chennai, and if their pitch deteriorates a bit, and let's not forget that the final and the second qualifier are at Chennai.
Yep.
If Chennai can start turning this into a fortress again, Chennai are second favourites. Them winning today was massive because they had a massive net run rate boost as well. So not only have they got themselves to 10 points along with 4 other teams, they're now plus 0.8 net run rate. That's really good. I still can't work out the maths of why Sunrisers is flat. I just don't know how you could score 250 all the time and be flat. So Chennai.
Who would have thought a team with Unadkat as one of their main bowlers, and Mark Candy, would struggle?
Yeah. See that we go back to recruitment again, and we can't talk about recruitment too long here because we'll be here all night. But To answer your question, Chennai are the second favourites for me. I'll have a look what the market is while you ask me.
I was about to say, do you agree with those as the two favourites?
Yeah, I definitely. But I just really, I've fallen in love a bit with Sunrisers.
So you want them to?
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
If we take Sunrisers out, and where do you put Lucknow in all of this? I think they're a really interesting team because I'm not sure they're particularly good, but I think there might only be two good teams in this competition.
I agree with that entirely. I think Lucknow.
I know you do. You've ruled out everyone else from winning.
Lucknow have got lots of good players, but they're not a very good cricket team because they haven't worked it out yet. They don't have a good plan. Bishnoi didn't bowl till the 16th over yesterday. They don't have a number 3, and they go, Stoin, can you do it? And he's out first ball. They go, Badoni, Krunal, Nicky P, what can you do today? Where do you want to bat? Like, they don't know. It's like club cricket where it's like whoever's got pads on just bats.
Is that the sort of thing you can figure out at the back end of a competition, get it right, and go on a run?
This is why Lucknow are a bit of a spanner in the works. I'm not going to say they can't win it because they can. They've got KL at the top and they've got Nicky P in the middle.
Yeah.
And Stoin has shown what he can do. He has not done it very often.
They just feel thin.
And they just like.
Do you know what I mean? Where you just like, I think they play good cricket, and they have a slightly plus record. But I feels like they could also end up absolutely nowhere near the playoffs. Like it could all fall apart. The problem for me is that I hate agreeing with the big tickle beast over here. But Rajasthan and Chennai, I trust. Right? Kolkata, I do not trust. Sunrisers, I certainly don't trust. And then you've got Lucknow, Gujarat. I mean, Delhi is 5-5 at the moment. Delhi could still actually make the playoffs. And if Delhi make the playoffs, we should all stop watching cricket.
Yeah, it's big. So Delhi have done it entirely by accident.
Yes, they deserve nothing.
Everything wrong with their selections, everything wrong with their makeup. They won't let a really good cricket mind in Ricky Ponting make any decisions using that mind. They have a couple of blokes and maybe a lady upstairs that say, this is the team. Here's Anrik Nortje. He's really injured, lads. Well, it's all right. We'll get Jai Richardson instead. He's really injured as well. What shall we do? And it's like, well, we'll get Shai Hope. He's the answer. And then they're like, well, everyone's injured. We thought that was going to happen. Now what do we do? They go, well, Fraggle McGurkins can play. And let's fly him over. And he's awesome. He's like the best thing ever. Like, if he carries on doing this, I can't believe these words are about to
Oh my God! Oh my God! He's going to do it!
If he carries on like this, if he has 6 good games, Delhi can win the IPL.
All right, I'm plugging myself. I don't think
Delhi can win it.
Here.
And I backed them hard to finish bottom.
I know you did.
I backed them hard to finish bottom. And I now think... So the market says Rajasthan are favourites, and of course they are.
Yep.
They're 2-1 to win the IPL. Of course, they're a powerhouse. Only injuries derail them because they're quite smart too. Like, you can trust them. 2 world-class mega gun openers, the best first over bowler in the competition. Chahal is a gun, loads of good fielders. They, like Hetmeyer Lurkin, they've got loads of good stuff, right? Sanju's in gun form as well. Lots of things to like about.
Yeah.
The bench strength isn't great. Sandeep is amazing now. Rajasthan are favourites. The market then says KKR are next in, 4-1. Not for me, no thanks. Like, they're crazy. They need 9 drop catches a game to win the IPL, and at the moment they're getting them every game. That can't continue. Chennai next. Chennai should be shorter than KKR for me. I get it. Lucknow are 10. Okay, they can win. But Delhi, from like 1,000,000 to 1 before all their players got injured and they accidentally picked good players, are 25s now. 4% chance of winning the IPL. I'd rather be on Delhi, I can't believe I'm saying it, at 25 than KKR at 5. Do you know what I mean?
Can I ask you a betting question here? Is it possible to bet Rajasthan and Chennai and then wager it so that you get a net neutral from those two teams, and then put a sneaky bet on if Delhi win that you cash in?
Yeah, so what you could do, so basically what we're saying is back Raj, back Chennai, have a bit on Delhi for a laugh, and lay the other ones, like, pretty much. Lucknow, I want to be quite flat on. I think Lucknow can win any cricket match, because they've got lots of individuals that can do things. They're quite a good cricket team compared to some of the others that are just like, let's have loads of players that can whack it and see how we get on.
Let's just go through some of the bets today, the winners and the losers. So we had RCB Gujarat for a first ball 4. We didn't get that one, did we? I can't even remember that game.
No, it was a second ball 4. We did not.
Over 6.5 in the first run. Over 6.5 runs in the first over. RCB and Gujarat.
1 out of 2, I think.
That's a half bell. You had Miller for most sixes. That certainly went nowhere. We
lost,
had
but-
Omazai for under 19.5. No, that was a winner. Sorry, what was it?
Didn't bat, so probably voidy.
Oh, okay. Saha for under 21. That was a winner. You had Sai Sudarshan for over 24.5. We need a bigger bell for him. You had Gill for man of the match. That didn't go anywhere. Rashid Khan got absolutely smashed in that one.
50 runs he went for, 51.
We had then Sunrise's highest first six. Oh my God, I forgot how easy that was. I think I got that 3 different times. I think I backed that everywhere. And I also got an under as well. That was ridiculous.
That was a really good bet, that.
Under 9.5 Chennai.
Sixes. Yeah, that one, yeah.
Patharana most wickets
And
and top
that-
Chennai bowler, and you got done twice on that, didn't you?
Patharana was going to win that.
Was he?
Yeah, he was going to have 12 of 18 balls against that tail when they needed 85.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was going to get that.
I think the things we got wrong during the game is we were all pretty, I think Munners might have even gone in on Sunrises himself.
Yeah.
So we were all on Sunrises in that
Yeah.
chase. But there was a few other things.
Loads of second innings unders we told you to back.
Oh yeah,
And
the
they all
second
came
innings
in.
unders were very good. So it wasn't like the Super Saturday here. We went absolutely ballistic. This was a good win though. We also told you that the train was coming on RCB before it did. We didn't. I don't think we quite understood it was going to be that big a train, but it was a very big train. If you're following us on YouTube, we put content out all the time. But we've also got a Facebook page, and also cricket8.com is the place to come for everything that we make. So there's many different ways to follow cricket8.com. We have podcasts. Nikesh and Mega will be up for a podcast. This is obviously going to be a podcast if you missed started some of this and you just come for the live watch along, so you can always go back there. There is heaps of articles being written all the time as well. So head over to cricket8.com. It is your home for intelligent cricket, and that is it from me, Rob, and Munners from Dealt With Cricket. Big thank you to both of them for being here for probably one of the more dour days of Cricket 8. But in some ways, even when you don't have good cricket, you still have Shabazz.
Ah